Hello, everyone. Welcome back to ESA Cup. We're in Season 9 now. I'm Pastor, joined by Pooble. We're going to be taking you through this game. EWAVE Esports versus Team Mxster. It's a best of 3 here in the Swiss stage. Joe, we're back
Yep,
in ESA. We're back in the bunker, a hot Nix's basement. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. We've got a best of three ahead of us, which a lot of people are probably going to think is a bit odd for this early in the season. We do have a Swiss stage to kick things off, but we're kind of straying from the norm here. It's all best of threes, and that comes with a whole host of benefits and potential cons for these teams. The biggest thing, though, best of one merchants are not going to have an easy time through here, right? They're going to have to win a series, or have to win 3 series, right, to get through to the qualification. Usually that's not the case with Swiss stages. Usually you can coast on by until those elimination and qualification matches and then have to just lock in for 1 or 2 best of threes. But here, you've got to be consistently good at these longer series, and that, in theory, should really weed out the weaker teams from the stronger ones here.
It absolutely should. And speaking of elimination matches, whoever loses this game will go to 1. This is in the lower bracket of the second round. So both of these teams, they lost their opening game. EWAVE was a 2-1 loss, and then Mxster was a 2-0 loss to PIB. So that brings us to this game, Joe. We're between these two teams, EWAVE 8th in the quals, Mxster 16th in the quals. That was actually the last possible slot that they could have got. They basically squeaked into ESA Cup by just a couple of points. But they're here, and that's all that matters. The best of ones were in those quals. Now we're in this best of threes, like you said. So we should be able to see what maps we're going to be playing for this series. And I say that tentatively. Here we go. The map veto graphic is coming in. Chalet Consulate and Nighthaven Labs being the decider. Now, these maps are interesting, aren't they, Joe?
It's a lot of rematches for these teams, right?
It
You
is.
pointed out to me before this, Chalet, our first map, was played previously. It was by the decided Team Mxster in their last ESA Cup series, that 0-2 loss. They lost to 8-7, so it was still very close, almost a win. It's still a loss, though, and crucially, that's 15 rounds worth of strats that EWAVE could potentially have looked at. But then you go over to map 2 and Consulate, and actually you'll see it's a very similar story, actually. Like, we're seeing another rematch here. It's kind of crazy that already we're rehashing these maps. It was another loss for EWAVE this time, I believe.
Yep, and also 8-7.
Also another 8-7. Well. So again, you could sort of string that in a way of, well, they almost won it, but equally it's so much material you're giving your opponents. And you head over to Nighthaven Labs, that's a direct rematch between these teams in the quals.
It is.
That's crazy we're seeing it this early. It shows that at the very least these teams maybe want to hide maps, but usually you'd be hiding a map like Consulate or a map like Nighthaven. You'd play the more standard clubhouses. We do have a Chalet here, maybe even something like the Border. Instead, they're wanting to almost hide the more common maps and play these much more off-meta picks.
Yeah, and that map between these two in the quals, that was a 7-0 to EWAVE on maps. So it wasn't even close between these two teams. I would have expected that would be like the first map that Mxster banned. But instead, it's here again. So if we do get down to that decider, it is going... There are some question marks there. Apparently, Chalet is Mxster's worst map. But I don't entirely know how big that sample size is. So I think maybe it's best to just sort of move on from that and head into the actual lobby. The French Alps of Chalet awaiting us here, Pooble. We're going to get going straight away with our operator bans.
Yeah, indeed we are. This could certainly set the tempo for the map ahead of us. I'm expecting a Monty ban. We really should be seeing a Monty ban because of how oppressive the operator can be, especially on a map like Chalet that has quite a lot of close quarter engagements. Just having that shield can be a nightmare for the defense to maneuver around. A very long time taken for this first attacking ban to come off. And it is EWAVE banning the Dekaibi. Another very strong operator, but really not the strongest we have at the moment, is it?
No, really isn't. You'd expect something like a Ying or, like you said, a Montaigne or a Blitz. You know, the shields are so oppressive in the current meta. But Dokkaebi, again, is also very strong. To see what Master ban away here, it's going to be the Ying, which means we have full shield action here inside of this game, which is slightly worrying because, I mean, the attack already has a pretty nice time on Chalet. With a Montaigne and a Blitz at their disposal as well, I think defending is going to be incredibly difficult in this game.
Yeah, these are, well, it's a very similar case to that first Chalet we were talking about that Master played. Again, shields were open and they couldn't take full advantage of that and still might not be able to. His army being banned, another very strong operator that we've seen really have constant presence throughout the shields that she can place. Really, really strong. Melusi, though, an operator that is sort of returning back into the spotlight after getting those major utility buffs at the cost of that APCOG being removed. Really a very worthwhile trade for any Melusi player, I'd say. The amount of extra stuff she got, whether it be that secondary shotgun or it be that additional Banshee, makes it such a strong pick for the defense. All of these bans, they are kind of skirting around those almost top band operators we see there, right? Again, the Monty has been allowed to slip through. There's no Valk ban here, no Fenrir ban. It's all ups that I think most people would agree are very strong, but they aren't the strongest. So you've still got those top threats allowed here. And so far, I'm not seeing a Monty being picked. Of course, there's that free pick, and I would love to see a Monty because of how pretty strong he is. Master just don't seem to be wanting to use that as of yet.
No, they absolutely don't, and instead switching away from the one sort of shield-like utility that they have in the ESA. There's Talonate shields. But obviously, there are still about 10 seconds left. This lineup could entirely change. And the top floor as well is not necessarily the strongest site to pick on this map. It seems like these teams so far, at least at first, aren't necessarily taking full advantage of what is actually at their disposal. A Thorn coming through as well for the defense is certainly an interesting choice. But most of the pressure is coming through from the trophy bar gaming side of the map. You can already see library, being opened up. The double window to put pressure onto mezzanine across as well. There's already someone down at the bottom of the blue stairs. I believe the player's been spotted, but Faison is also down below. Gold might get caught out unless his teammate can come and assist very, very quickly. But instead, Pencha's just kind of moved away from this engagement, just sitting, watching, waiting. Nothing actually to come through, but Faison, I just don't think they know how close they are to this actual engagement. Finally, come on, surely. Alberto spot onto one, traded though by Pencha. That could have gotten very, very dangerous. Instead though, Joe, it's a 4 versus 4.
Yeah, a bit of a messy engagement at SMG-12 as Tiro gets another one, so still favor for EWAVE, but Master have got some out of control. They've spooked away those roamers, in fact taken down Faison and forced them off those library stairs. So that is a decent amount of control gained, but they've still got to dislodge that library player. Gold taken down, but Mxster again with the trade. EWAVE not wanting to be in this man deficit as Zegman continues that advantage. 3v1 now. They've finally got library control, but all other avenues have collapsed here. It's all on Ryan.
It absolutely is. And a 1 versus 3. Free fires coming through as well. Tiro very, very close to that engagement. Ryan just doesn't quite spot Zyvan swinging from the other side. Taking him down in a pretty good first round for EWAVE. It felt like Master just didn't really come close to contesting in a game where we theorized perhaps the attack would look strong. Instead, EWAVE were just kind of allowed to do whatever the hell they wanted around the map.
Yeah, it seemed like Master didn't have a coherent plan of what push they wanted to do. It looked very much like a library-focused take to begin with. You have those two players at the bottom of the library stairs around bar as well as one holding the cutoff. But once that first player dropped, they all seemed to kind of panic. We saw that very impromptu jump in through that library corridor window, and that was completely shut down by the angle. There was no way they could have survived that engagement. Library as well was also a bit of a battleground. And because there wasn't really that coherency in the team, the defense just picked them apart. They held these very easy to win angles, won those 1v1s, ended up winning the round. So for Mxster, I'd like to just see a bit more of a just structured push here instead of just a bunch of players kind of hoping to find some kind of opening. Go towards weak points, work together, leverage your man advantage in specific locations instead of just taking these ones and instead of using them.
Second round inside Bar Gaming. And again, it's an approach from the same sort of side. Instead of going for a cross-map clear, it looks to hit at least a little bit directly, but the attack now converging over towards the side of Trophy, towards the side of Kitchen, Solarium. They want to try and go for this roam clear again. Unfortunately, they weren't even really able to sort of find the right entry point to get that correct connection in the previous round. The C4 out isn't going to be great for them, and instead it's the opening pick going the way of Ryan outside, looking in towards, I believe that's West Main. Gold gets him taken down there. Means that maybe Mxster have a chance, have an opportunity. There's still players down below.
Yeah, there is a drone scooting around Kitchen, so I thought Terry would have been spotted a little earlier. Either way, gives away his position with those shots, but still, Tontino's been taken down. That's an evening of the man count by Mxster. Still, not the worst situation for the attack, but again, we see another panicked jump in. Faison gets two, a third now going through that window. Isn't taken out, instead that's Esther, and Ryan gets one, but it's another 1v3. EWAVE very much in a commanding position here as Ryan just flanks the player down below, finally realizes those shots might lead to something, and Tiro wins it anyway. Another panicked round from Mxster, and another round that's been expertly dealt with by EWAVE.
I think part of the problem here is that they're just not using their drones effectively, Pooble. I mean, two people coming into Solarium with absolutely zero idea of what is actually happening. It's not like Faison was in an off position. He was in direct view of the window. Any drone would be able to spot the player there, or at least you'd be able to see the Vigil static, because he was playing the Vigil, and go, maybe this isn't a fantastic idea. The Vigil static is very strong in Solarium. Perhaps there might be a Vigil around, and instead just choose to be a little bit more thorough. They had plenty of time left in the round too. It just feels, like you said, very, very rushed. They're not using their drones effectively. And part of me worries that that 7-0 scoreline might be fairly indicative of how this series is going to go.
One thing I need to see in this round is a push that doesn't involve going through windows. They are just such a really difficult entry point to be in with on the side of the attack. Your movement's limited, really hefty sound queue. Just go somewhere else, go upstairs, even just rappel on those windows and just use them more as cutoffs. But I can't keep seeing Mxster rappel or vault in through windows and dying to these positions that, as you said, really standard, really default. They need to find some other kind of entry point, because if they do, and if they can force a real 50-50 gunfight, they could very easily win it. They got the opener in a pretty fair gunfight in that last round, and then just let it all slip away. Just learn from those mistakes, continue the things that brought you success, and surely they can win a round here on the attack.
I mean, you would think so, and yet again, they still aren't bringing the Montaigne or the Blitz. We've seen how strong shields are. Okay, yes, you have an Oster, but it's not quite the same buff at all. In fact, it just straight up, they just didn't get one. So it feels very, very strange to me that we aren't seeing what is quite possibly the strongest two attackers in the game at least once here. A lot of damage being dealt though. It's the opening pick for Mxster again. Tiro's also down very low gold. Yet to find a pick, but there's two downs going back the other way. Esther possibly caught inside of a frost mat, or at least just downed inside of the library. So a 4 versus 4, but with some low HP players in a down, it's almost 3 versus 3. The key difference there is that Tiro is able to have their gun up and still fire. And that's, well, they find the kill onto Pencha, finally traded out, but even still, that impact is realized, and Esther still downed, isolated from their team, and stuck inside of the library.
Yeah, Vigil is just baiting this down. Eventually, Esther's been picked up and is dropping down the hatch, but still Fazen's up here with a boss G in hand, can deal a lot of damage, pushes up. Drone should know he's there, but still gets the down. That gun's just so powerful. And again, we're really pointing out, if there's a Monty there, and you're not relying on drones, and you're relying on actual vision and actual pressure, Fazen can't get away with that. He can't do that. That boss G has 2 shots. He'd really have to hit an absolute heater to get around it. But instead, there's no threat of the Monty. There's no threat of the Blitz. He can just swing and get a kill. And once again, Mxster just not making the most of the tools available, conceding another round as that's a full 3-round rotation for EWAVE.
Indeed, they're avoiding the basement, instead going back up to the top floor where they enjoyed, pretty much the same success as they've had the rest of the time. Key difference there is that EWAVE actually did get the opening pick. Can you believe it, Joe?
Why so?
Mxster have been winning the entry battle more often than not so far.
Yep.
And yet they haven't got a single round. They're 0-3 right now. And again, it feels indicative of those perhaps teamwork issues and the communication and the droning. They had 3 drones left alive at the end of that previous round, and that round ended with, I think, like 1 minute 10 left on the round timer.
And again, it may sound like we're harping on the same point, but Monty has already been banned 27 times in this season alone. That's the highest presence ban rate for the attack. Why aren't we using him? And the only real kind of argument you can make against the Monty is, well, it's 4 guns up instead of 5. But as you pointed out, Mxster have been winning these engagements. They've been lowering the amount of guns the defense has available. So there's no real downside of bringing a Monty at that point. And still, 4th round now, no Monty. Not even an Mxster as we had before, just nothing. They're taking heads-up gunfights, and they've been losing these heads-up gunfights. Where is the change? Where is the adaptation? Because right now, I'm quite simply lost, Cameron. I am flabbergasted as Penn just got another one.
Okay,
ESA gets one here as well. 3v5, but they've got openers before. They could still lose this.
The key difference is that those openers never got down to a 3v5. It was always traded back, responded to in some way by EWAVE. This is the first time that they've been able to get this man advantage, and they've actually been able to hold on to it at least a little bit. And this kind of shows why this top floor is maybe not the best site in the game for the defense. Yes, EWAVE were able to get away with it before, but again, we mentioned it's often the weakest site on this map. And now that EWAVE are in a 3 versus 5, especially this early on, the attack is going to be able to really isolate these players, to isolate these positions, to get the gunfights they need, to get the information that they need. So, what are EWAVE going to be able to do about it? Because Clem is already starting to feign this diffuser being planted.
Yeah, there's going to be an impact play from someone. Aliumizer thought it might be him, but taken down by Titonio. Ryan gets another. It's a 1v5 for Fazen, who spent most of this round in the basement. Finally back on this site. Boss G in hand yet again. It's a good gun. Only 2 bullets. It's going to be really strapped for ammo here. Got to choose these engagements very, very carefully. Activates the ability. Goes for the swing, but it's read into perfectly. Clem gets that. And finally, Mxster convert on an opening pick, and they win a round.
At long last. It's only taken 4 rounds, but they did finally get one onto the board. But now that success needs to be repeatable. Even if things just go back to how they were, 5-1 half still isn't fantastic, especially on a map like Chalet where the attack often has a bunch of success, especially when you're on Chalet and Montaigne is unbanned. But again, it seems like just a stubborn refusal to go for this operator. Sure, it worked out in the previous, but now you're attacking into bar gaming, and if there's one site on this map that shields are maybe the most synonymous with, it might just be this one.
Yeah, absolutely. It's incredibly easy to get, particularly that Monty with that extended shield, into the site. All you need to do is maybe risk a jump in through games. That Frostmat's going to put a bit of a spanner in the works, but even just jump in through mud or walk in through fireplace. There's so many ways that a Monty can get close to that site, put a lot of pressure on those remaining anchor defenders there, and help the rest of his team sort of like work around the map. Still, no Monty being brought here. Again, it did work last time, but I think part of that was down to almost a bit of complacency from EWAVE. They were very aggressive early on. Tiro is running out there, you can see on the UI, so no real loss of aggression we're seeing as of yet. I just don't want EWAVE to offer themselves up again like they did in round 4.
Yeah, absolutely not. I feel like that would definitely be the wrong decision. Zero window being placed inside a connector. Pench has found the opening pick again. Has been doing so well in terms of this entry statistics. Ivan, well, that's nearly a response, but no. No one's able to find that pick, and in fact, Ivan's just going to rotate all the way back to the site. Spooked away from Kitchen early. It's the first 40 seconds of the round, and well, there's no one really off the site here. Alio's been downed as well. Going to have to get picked back up by Gold, but even still, only onto 20 HP for the remainder of this round. This roam clear finally doing something for the side of Mxster. And if you take a look at the drones, they have 8 left. They're finally using them effectively. That's a lovely swing! Esther with a second as well. Headshot into Alio, taking him down. It's another 2v5 situation. Tiro's being spotted on this rotation up as well. The flashbang's going to connect. He can't land that shot. Finally, there's a response as Gold picks up their first second of the series, looking for more, trying to go for more, but caught out by the shield and shut down by Clem.
Another really good round from Mxster there. They are just absolutely making the most of this aggression being brought from EWAVE, and now a half that looked to be so good for EWAVE is spiraling, crashing towards a 3-3. I would just like to see them put the reins on those players, really, force them to play a little bit more protective, a bit more safe, because we're seeing such aggression and it's just simply not paying off. We saw Mxster get down, swinging that big window. Another opening pick on the other side of the map. There was no chance for a trade there. We saw good trade work initially, and all that's kind of drifted away from EWAVE, it seems like, as now they are not playing their strongest at all. 3-2, 3-3 potentially on the horizon if Mxster can just convert this. And still no Monty. We're actually being made to look a bit like chumps here, Cameron. They're finally winning rounds without using the shield. I'm not sure why they're not using it, but the game plan seems to be working. EWAVE, just play a little bit more passive, please.
Yeah, that's the thing. Then they can afford to play passive because there's no shield. Instead, they are just continuing this all-out aggression, which has been proven in these last 2 rounds. And Mxster have finally got the hold on you there. They've finally been able to shut you down when you're going for these aggressive plays. Let's rein it in. Let's try and play a bit more standard siege and just bait out the utility, bait out the drones like we saw in those first 3 rounds.
Yeah, Esther towards this top floor. Had a phenomenal round last time. Got that R4C in hand once again. Being met by Mxster. He doesn't have any shield protecting him as of yet, so those ram drones won't be particularly useful instead. There's going to be a gunfight needing to be won here as Mxster's in a very aggressive spot. And seemed like Esther didn't know, but still takes him down anyway. That's another opener for Mxster. That's 5-1 now in the opening picks. Not quite a 5v3 as of yet. Some shots crucially missed, but still a lot of map control already.
And they know the position of Siren as well on those stairs. It's going to be very difficult for them to actually rotate away from this, but it seems like they have. Now on the trophy stairs in Solarium, trying to flank behind these players and joining up with Tiro, who's inside of the office. There's 2 players now upstairs yet again to try and hold off the brunt of this attack. The top floor has been breached now thanks to that opening. Tiro, you don't need to try and swing for this. But even still going aggressive, catches out Esther, not aware of the wraparound though. Pencha answering back, keeping the man advantage in the hands of Mxster. I might be about to wrap again. Sivan, you're under pressure, you're under control, and they don't know about it. 4 versus 2 now. Mxster really starting to make their attack work. There is a response from Fazen, who finds that C4 and spots a player on the hatch as well. That is crucial, because now it means there's damage being dealt. The rotation might be red here, though. Pencha's looking and looks away at just the wrong time.
Fazen doesn't need to commit to this, though. They're in already a really winnable spot. Time's getting low, and thankfully, he moves away, realizes it's not worth the risk. A 2v3 on site is far more winnable than a 1v3. Still, Pencha's above here, could still offer a bit more vertical pressure, and Fazen just doesn't know when to quit. Still wants to go for this flank here, Cam, with only 40 seconds left.
Yeah, indeed. The breach denial working out fairly well, though, for Gold, although running out of those Zoto canisters that the Tuberal brings along. And now Fazen is coming upstairs, just waiting for time to go a little bit. Spots a player from long range! How does Fazen win that gunfight? Gold with one on the site now leaves things in a 1 versus 1, but TJ knows the position of this player. No C4 available for them. And there we go. The kill comes through from Fazen. Is able to find it. A 1 versus 2 clutch, I believe, from the player. But either way, that got very, very close.
And crucially, it's another opening pick that Mxster just weren't able to capitalize on. They were 5-1 in openers that half, and only 2-4 in actual round wins. A real host of missed opportunities there, just down to both a couple of individual heroics from EWAVE, but also blunders coming out of Mxster themselves. Either way, 2-4. It's certainly not as bad as it looked initially, given that 3-0 start for EWAVE, but not great. That being said, Mxster's on the defense now. You can easily get a couple rounds under your belt on this side. It's far more favored. They've gone straight down to Kitchen to begin with a very utility-heavy setup. We're looking at that Legion to counter any shield being brought. We're looking at the castle as well to slow down the attack. Mirror and Goyo as well, so good for crowd control. They are not wanting to really take engagements here. They are really relying on utility and hoping that it can bring them over the edge because, sure, they've had some really good moments when it comes down to gunfights, but look at that previous round. They had the advantage 4-2, and they just lost 1v1 after 1v1 after 1v1. They maybe are a little bit scared here, and they just want to play a bit safer style Siege.
But Joe, we're seeing a blitz. We have a shield operator. It's not quite the Montaigne as they initially had planned, but for this site, maybe a blitz does make more sense. And look at this, it looks like it's going to be fast. Into the main fireplace area, and they just keep going in towards the site, opened up by the Buck. Blitz keeping on pushing, Fazen clearing the site. There's no one here. It's entirely vacated by the side of Mxster, but that means they can now start trying to clear the vertical, and Gold's getting this diffuser down. This is so fast, so genius, but he's got enough. The vertical pressure, they haven't quite cleared it enough. He's going to have to try and go for more gunfights. It's another opening pick for Mxster, and again, it's Pencha. Gold, though, has now got this plant secured. 45-second timer, but a 4 versus 5 and low HP for the EWAVE players. The flash comes in, Pencha, another Tiro answering back. The melee, it's so damn powerful. Now a 2v2, making a 2 versus 1 as Esther gets taken down by the Goyo, but Zyvan is down. Now picks up that position, should be known. The drop comes through on the hatch. Clem, the player, to try and find the drop. The blitz is still active, still charging, has been spotted. What? The flash, trying to take the gunfight. What are you doing? Instead, it's the kill, but still doesn't know about Zyvan's position and E-Wave. That's an incredibly chaotic round, but the rush works out for them.
Those shields are pretty strong, huh? I mean, who'd have seen that coming?
It's not like we mentioned it 6 rounds in a row.
Fazen immediately back on that operator. You cannot really blame them either with the success they saw. And it's the brilliant part about shields nowadays. Before, they were kind of this one-trick pony reliant entirely on a rush. And back in those days, you really can't gamble on a rush twice now. But Blitz is actually far more useful now due to those shield buffs. You can play a lot slower. So sure, this looks again like maybe a bit more of an aggressive lineup so far, but they can easily make things a little bit slower, especially with the Monty as well. They can still just go for a more standard roam clear on the top, using those shields to just take really advantaged gunfights. The Legion, still going to be an issue though. Esther's still locked onto this operator after the nightmare they experienced back in round 7. Again, can't really blame them for sticking it. Monty swapped off once again onto the Ash and could maybe see another fast push. Yeah, Ash, really synonymous with that kind of thing. But I think, well, actually on Thermite now, this is suddenly a vastly different lineup, Cam. It looks to be a bit of a gimmicky plant setup with that sense, but the thing with gimmicks like that is they very rarely work. So I am a little bit concerned there.
Be interesting for sure. But again, if there's one thing that we could gather from the first half, it's that even when EWAVE maybe should be playing passively and slow, they still attack it with the same pace that we saw in round number 7. Esther though, that's a nice shot from Zyvan. Only the second opening pick for EWAVE inside of this game. which is a fairly ridiculous thing to say because they are 5-2 up right now. So it shows that even in the man disadvantage, they can convert. So when they have the advantage, I mean, it's worked out once before. I reckon it will again in the sort of swing from Venture. Rather ill-advised, I would say.
Yeah, a 6-round drought of opening picks has been broken there as EWAVE have doubled down. They've made it a 5v3. It's a very, very winnable situation here. Still got to deal with some utility. Those Goyo canisters can be really nasty at just wasting time for the attack here. So it's a thing to be careful of, but if they just use this man advantage, they use that 2-man lead, hell, even get the plant down as well. They are all setting themselves up for wins here, as it seems like Mxster have been caught a bit blindsided, not expecting Gold to be that aggressive. It's a 5v2, plant down, 5v1. EWAVE looking to get up to map point already, and that they do. A flawless round 8. A bit of a different style, no shields required, but still a fast execute resulting in another fast win.
It works out for them. It looks so damn good from EWAVE right now. Just all of the pressure being applied. Even still, they didn't go for the blitz rush. They were able to get the breach open early. They had sight lines up above, everything. They just got through their checklist. And they were like, well, I guess we plant now. And then they just win. Mxster just they can't even really seem to win a gunfight on their defenses. Yeah, the previous round 7 got down to a 1v1. But then they just get flawless on. Finally, they go for somewhere different, and we see the Doc and the Rook to come on through, just trying to bolster the HP as much as possible for this Mxster team. And they are in the Mxster bedroom. Maybe it's fitting. Maybe their namesake is going to be able to provide them success. Unfortunately, it would only be one isolated round, and then they'd still have to fend off 3 more if they wanted to get to overtime.
Yeah, and you can kind of see this break glass in case of emergency situation on Team Mxster. The Rook and the Doc, they've seen that they're losing these gunfights, and they are just going all in on trying to out-frag the attack here. The overhealth from the Doc, the armor as well, the ability to pick themselves up could all be useful here. They're also kind of niche fringe cases, especially if you look at the way EWAVE have been winning these engagements. It's been headshot after headshot after headshot. Those Rook armors aren't going to do a damn there, and with a Monty as well to add that concrete information for the attack, it's looking like a very lethal lineup for EWAVE here. Zaven already applying pressure towards that mezzanine position, breaking open the wall, and with Tiro going up towards mezzanine on the Monty, they realize they don't need to waste any utility. They've got full concrete information that it's all clear, and that can speed up this push even more. Lovely use of the shield now.
Indeed they are. Glow canisters as well being popped for the defense. Again, it's that time waste. They're trying to get things as soon as possible, but an opening engagement actually traded out there. I believe the first kill went to EWAVE, but well, now it's advantage for the side of Mxster, and it's been taken up again with that 4 versus 2. The Doc Stim comes in as well just to heal up the player. Things look very, very difficult, but we've seen EWAVE win 2v4s before, Joe.
Yeah, we have. By no means a certainty that Mxster will win this round as of yet, but look at the positions from these attackers. Really locked out of anywhere. Gold had to give up their position away and shoot those defaults to rotate back to Ayo. Still, they've got a breach on site, but it's a really nasty breach to actually get through. It's going to probably be a vault because it's an ace hole, so already it comes with a whole host of problems like sound, like movement itself. As it seems like we might have a bit of a spectator bug here on the drone. Either way, 2v4 should be a very winnable situation for Mxster here, just based on those positions. Based on Mxster being on 36 health, and still we've got visual once again to see a fantastic kill there. Pench is taken down, and still it is winnable for EWAVE. They've gotten into sight. No case for them though. 1 minute remaining and 1v3 now. Clem gets a double on the round. Now it's going to be enough. They know that. They went to go and confirm it because of the Rook armor. It came in clutch in that final moment and allowed Mxster to win their 3rd round here, despite a fantastic array of opening picks. Still a long way from actually getting to overtime and even winning this map.
Yeah, indeed. They need 3 more rounds in a row. And that's tough. That is going to be tough. Yet again, we see phase and blitz Tiro Montaigne, obviously. With the prep phase, they can pick off of these operators for now, but it does show the intent. That's sort of the shields that both of those players have been floating, and then, if they move off, they move off. We haven't actually seen the Montaigne yet. It's only been blitzed and phasing so far. But in towards bar gaming, there's opportunity for the Monty to come on through, or a blitz as well. And again, a Frost and a Legion, probably the two most effective ways of dealing with those shields. Both of these operators have been brought along by Mxster for this defense.
Yeah, and it's this bar gaming site as well. We talked right back at the start. This is a very easy site for Shield, particularly to overwhelm the defense. And finally, it looks like Tiro's sticking it. The big guns are coming out. That #1 banned operator of the league, the Monty, will finally see some playtime here on potentially the last round of Chalet. It just is a whole other thorn for the defense to work around here. The Brava as well could be a bit of a troublemaker, but there's no real intel gadgets for the defense, so that's a kind of win for the defense here. But already, Tiro, he's out that front door, he's knocking, he knows he can immediately apply some pressure. He sees TJ, and TJ's taken down instantly. The power of the Monty, the deterrent, forcing the castle to move away. And finally, another opener for EWAVE here.
Indeed, can they collect and convert on this one? That's going to be the question. Ivan can't quite take away that mirror window, but spots a Pancher who's trying to swing, trying to take the aggression. Tiro's actually been downed and killed by Mxster. The Montaigne not working out at all, as instead, it's going to be the player downstairs to find it. Gold, though, answering back and spots the player. On Earth! Has Gold been able to win that gunfight? The response from Pancher, the real shining star for Mxster in this game. Nice little double. And spots the head of Gold as well. Knows he might be getting flanked upon. The pinch pressure push. Syvan now taking damage from the goo mines inside a fireplace as well. And it's going to make Pancher's job increasingly difficult. Tries to drop the hatch, but can't quite escape. Gold collecting a triple kill. Making it a 1 versus 2 for Clem to try and stay in this match. They're gaining the information. Drone comes in, spotted the player inside a connector. They don't have any frag grenades, but they do have 2 guns and will be able to make this work, and they do. Syvan out from the corridor, shuts things down, and EWAVE, a dominant 7-3 performance here on Chalet. It works out for them, and they take away their opponent's map pick just like that.
Yeah, EWAVE looking very, very scary there, particularly looking at the fact that they were playing so many of those rounds on the back foot, conceding that opening pick, and still winning them. A very, very nice attribute for a team to have right there. Their teamwork looked on point. They used the shields, obviously, so you can maybe argue they're a little bit playing a little bit smarter in terms of operator pick. They're using these very, very strong operators to get these very, very easy attacking wins. 7-3 for them, a dominant win for this first map. Already doing a lot better than they did their first time on Chalet. This time, we've got to see if this trend continues, though, if we can see these teams coming back from losses. Hopefully that will be the case here.
Yeah, for Mxster, it seems like that Chalet pick just needs to be retired now. They had an 8-7 loss against PIB. They had just had a 7-3 loss now. Like, yeah, if I'm Mxster, I'm retiring that Chalet pick, because at least for EWAVE, their Consulate, which is the map that's coming up next, that was the decider in that series. Mxster have picked it both times.
Yeah.
It just doesn't look good. And again, I said it at the start, I'm kind of worried that 7-0 scoreline on Labs would kind of be indicative of the way that this series is going. And right now, it does seem that way. EWAVE thoroughly outclassed Mxster there on Chalet, Joe.
Yeah, there were just times where Mxster honestly looked a little bit lost, particularly on those attacks, right? They had a horrid start to the map. I'm sure even they would admit that. Really getting outclassed at every turn. They did certainly heat up, though. They got a lot better, but it seemed like, crucially, that first half, the 2-4, a little bit too bad to overcome. That being said, though, heading on to Consulate, if they can put up a bit more of a fight in that first half and not be left in such a dire situation, we could easily see a map win. We'd easily see a map 3 if Mxster can just really shrug their shoulders, pick up the pieces, and put on a really good Consulate map.
Yeah, the danger is, though, that map 3 is Nighthaven Lab. Again, the 7-0 from EWAVE back in the qualifiers. All of that to come, though. We don't even know if we're seeing map 3, but what we will be seeing is a very short break. After this, though, Consulate on your screens. Welcome back, everyone. We told you it'd be a short break, and we are here again. EWAVE versus Team Mxster ready for you. I'm still Pastor, still joined by Pooble. We are taking you through. We're casting. It's kind of what we're known to do, Joe. Isn't that crazy?
Some would call it that, yeah. We've already seen Team Mxster fail the redemption arc. They already lost Chalet in their last series. They lost it again here, and honestly, in even more dire fashion. Let's see if EWAVE can complete theirs, shall we? They'll be heading on to Consulate, where they also lost 8-7 in the previous series. So maybe history sets a bit of a dark precedent for these two teams. Maybe map 3 is on the horizon. And if it does get to map 3 and that trend continues, and EWAVE are going to be looking pretty favored. It was a 7-0 between these teams last time they played on Nighthaven Labs, but still got to get through map 2. And EWAVE looked very, very strong previously. It looks like this should be a pretty handily just completed series, right? We saw them fight from behind continuously on Chalet. They lost a hell of a lot of opening duels and still won rounds. Consulate, if they can just keep that teamwork together, keep that ability to fight in disadvantaged situations, it shouldn't be too difficult at all.
Yeah, I'm looking at my notes here, and I have Mxster winning 6 entry picks and only converting 2 of them.
Yeah.
It does
great.
paint a fairly dire picture, doesn't it, for Mxster? But they have the opportunity to get off onto a good foot here. They're going to start themselves off on the defense, I believe, of Consulate, yes, which means, I mean, that should favor them, you would imagine, on the defense of that map. Now, we were quite critical of Team Mxster in the past game, Joe. Funnily enough, because they weren't picking a Montaigne. Amongst other things, we said that they weren't really playing to the meta very well. The operator bans were kind of strange. We had that Malusi ban on defense. We had the Dockerby Ying on attack, which left the shields open. Obviously, we know shields are very strong. They are also very strong on Consulate. Do we reckon we see them banned out here? Do you reckon we see EWAVE continue to exploit them? Should Mxster start playing them? Yes, definitively yes. But what do you foresee happening in that sort of department?
I would hope that Mxster ban out the Monty, because they have shown an absolute unwillingness to use it. They, of course, would have to let either a Ying or a Dakaibi slide based on what EWAVE ban, but I think that's definitely worth it. The Monty is just too strong, especially if you're not even going to use it. Way more valuable in a larger map like Consulate. With Chalet, you can at least kind of get away with it. It's a pretty small map. You can get from A to B quite easily and drone from A to B quite quickly as well. Consulate, you don't really get that luxury at all. So if Monty's off the board, great. They don't have to worry about implementing it into their lineup. But if it is on the board, you need to be using it. Because if not, you're going to be absolutely just hammered on your defenses, particularly as well. If the attack is using it, you're going to be at a massive disadvantage. So I'd like to see shields either banned or played by both of these teams, because Consulate, such a good map for it.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that I'm possibly considering is maybe we just see EWAVE ban away the shield themselves. Obviously, with how effective they were at using the shield, maybe Mxster go, well, hang on, maybe we should do that. And obviously, the other thing is, EWAVE have that first attacking ban. There isn't a way that they can see what Mxster are going to do. They kind of are the ones that have to take that initiative. Maybe they go for that, but obviously, if it's left open, we could just see a repeat of Chalet, where EWAVE use the shields to great effect, Mxster don't use them at all, and just get shut down.
Yeah. Again, I hope we're seeing that Monty ban, because it's just so strong. If not, you're really just kind of shooting yourself in the foot, and you're going to be allowing EWAVE to win really by doing nothing particularly special, just playing standardly to the meta. So I need Mxster to just really pick up the pace here as we get this first attacking ban. It will be from Mxster themselves. Let's see. Have they changed their philosophy? And indeed they have. Monty banned off the board. Blitz still probably going to make it through. We rarely see a double shield ban, but that is the big pain point gone. The defense should be a little bit more comfortable now, and that could allow Team Mxster to get to a much better first half. The thing we pointed out towards the end of Chalet, they did heat up in that map, but their mistakes early on were just too big to overcome. So if they can get, say, a 4-2 to start off here and just coast off the momentum of that, they can have a much better map here as Takaibi does get banned as well. Those two really helpful roam clear operators gone for the attack. How is EWAVE going to respond in these first 6 rounds?
Indeed, and we'll see the EWAVE response as well for this first ban. They're again going for the Melusi. So these things haven't changed, at least for them. They've just gone Dokkaebi Melusi both times. Now, if history was to tell us anything, then Azami would be going by the wayside here. But instead, we see a Mirror Master. They're much more willing to switch things up, which I certainly like. But I feel like maybe these bans are best for like the other way around in terms of the maps. Like Azami feels like much more of an effective operator here on Consulate than she does on Chalet.
Yeah, Azami, very, very strong on Consulate. You've got to also mention that top ban defender, the Valk, not being banned out here. Hasn't been banned out in either of these maps. So a lot of success on Chalet, and with Consulate again being a large map with a lot of nooks and crannies, the Valk is even stronger here. So another kind of strange ban phase. At least that top ban attacker of the Monkeys off the board, but still, Valk has survived yet again. I'd like to see liberal use of that operator be made by these defending teams. So far not being brought by Team Mxster. Instead, it's going to be a pretty standard top floor defense. Using that pulse from below for the Nitro Cells as a nice plant, the Goyo canisters as well, can deter those repel plays. But Phasen's on this blitz. And the thing with Consulate top floor is that yellow stairs is a really critical point for the defense and can really be used to get a very easy rush for the attack because of that skylight, because of the ability to vault down onto the top of those stairs. It's easy access towards that top floor site. If they don't read into that, if they're caught off guard, we could see another one of those signature fast pushes by EWAVE.
Indeed we could. We know how well it worked for them. Round number 7 on Chalet in particular, their first attacking round, and again they're attacking a similar lineup. Not quite the same pace though. Obviously the top floor a bit harder to access, at least straight away. As for Mxster, they're keeping themselves hidden, keeping themselves back away from this push, but facing this downstairs. That sound should now be coming through. They have the catch, they have the drones. Yeah, there's no chance that Esther's going to be able to survive here. Okay.
A little bit dicey.
That did get pretty risky, and in fact, Pencha's found a trade back. But if only that shot had just connected from Zyvan, it would have been a great one to see, but instead, we've fit ourselves at a 4 versus 4 people.
Yeah, and it seems to me here that maybe there's been a bit of a mistake in the operator selection phase. There's no EMPs for the attack, and we saw there that Zyvan is just waiting on that single panel to try and open it. It's going to, in fact, have to be Phasen shooting with the pistol through those floorboards to try and destroy that bandit battery. I don't think it has to, because we're seeing Zyvan move away, so that was a bit of a blunder from the attack, but Gold takes the initiative, repels down the skylight. It's a big risk, but a big reward. 4v3 now, still got that shield in play as well. EWAVE looking pretty good here, despite a couple early mistakes.
Yeah, but the problem is their shield is on low HP, and you still have those Vulcan canisters, you still have the Toxic Babes that are going to be able to just take so much damage away from the attacking players. It's going to make Phasen's job as the split's incredibly difficult. Trying to push through into the site is the tip of the spear. It's going to be so difficult. Gold, though, is trying to make things work himself. He's found a triple in the round 2 in quick succession. Back-to-back impact for that player, and the blitz now coming through. The shotguns aren't quite working. Instead, hatch opened up, player drops down. No chase coming in, but the plant is successful. And Gold again, 4K in that round. Yes, it's traded back, but I mean, they're not going to complain about that when it's another brilliant attack from EWAVE.
I really liked the individual plays as well as the overall teamwork from EWAVE there. Obviously, you've got Faison just taking that easy kill onto Esther below. I liked the play from Gold and the way that Faison maneuvered himself around that smoke during the end of that round. He knew he was on no HP whatsoever, so he played very, very safe. Didn't want to give away his position. And the moment Gold got that quick double kill near the end, immediately tries to rotate, put himself in a much better position, not take a really risky heads-up gunfight on that low HP. And because of that, it allowed the rest of his teammates to get more site control, get a plant down, really leverage that 3v1 to their advantage, and ultimately win it out. Mxster did not have a good round there at all, really getting just outgunned at every opportunity. A real similarity we saw on Chalet. Back when they were on their defenses on that map and EWAVE were having to attack, they were more open than not winning every gunfight they were presented. So we need to see some kind of switch up. That seems to be the scope offs being brought in. That's certainly a very useful operator, allowing you to kind of roam and anchor at almost the same time. Obviously can't move both those shells at once, but you can easily just jump back towards the basement if need be. Esther as well in the Vigil. It looks like they're committing to a quite hefty roam here, but this seems like a very execute-focused lineup. The Glass, the Blitz, the Thermite, and the Grim all being brought here, and they're all just marching straight towards that external wall cam.
Indeed they are, and this time they got EMPs. Don't even really need them. No Mute, no Kaid, no Bandit. This wall can just get opened up as easy as you like. Another EMP there, just for quick measure. The Thatcher as well, but in goes the player planting that diffuser. Is there any C4? Is there any denial at all? I don't think there is. Ryan's trying to get the angle, but just can't quite see it. The diffuser's planted right under their nose. 45-second timer started. Finally, the kill's collected, and it goes the way of Mxster, the entry pick, and then second kill as well. But they're able to hold from outside the diffuser as well. Vertical potential to be held. It feels like maybe it's just gone a bit too quickly for them, as now the player's diffusing, and there's only just Faison left. Can't find the angle onto the player. What the hell just happened?
I think EWAVE forgot they were a new consulate for a second then. They really shouldn't have overpeaked once they were getting that plant down. They should have just hid. Obviously, this site is well known for having probably the most difficult retake in the game when you get that plant down. Bit more forgiving for the defense now because of that cover added, but still quite difficult. The thing is with EWAVE though, they really weren't playing around that cover at all. They were just dry holding these angles and getting picked apart by the defense when they could have just played for sound. And really, once they lose 2 or 3 bodies, there's very little they can actually do around that post plant because they will just get traded. Simple as that. Unlucky for them. I love the idea, seeing the really roam-heavy lineup and just going for a straight execute. Sadly, they just didn't really play around the map in a way that suited them most at that particular moment. Because of that, Team Mxster have almost been gifted around there. It's 1-1. We wanted Mxster to get off to a bit of a stronger start than they did in Chalet, and already we got a round on the board by round 2. Previously, it was round 4 before they finally saw some victory, so certainly a good improvement for this defensive side.
Yeah. Chaos. They're reattempting the top floor, and again, Faison bring along the Blitz. Interestingly enough, the Blitz in the previous round was maybe a bit too passive, which is not really a problem we've had before, especially with this Blitz, especially with this team, and already they're up on the top floor. Straight through the basement, up the yellow stairs, now inside of the console side room, just waiting for TJ to come on close, and they haven't even seen them. Tries to go for the fight with the pistol, wins it out. Esther answering back though. The melee is an option for these shields. Hero another. They're going for this window plant, Joe. The difference is that they've just been allowed to go and do it. The round's over just like that.
We point out it was a potential threat, that yellow stairs all the way back on round 1, and this time EWAVE capitalized on it. Another fast push, another fast plant, and another win for EWAVE there. Mxster maybe getting a little bit too overconfident after how they repelled it in round 2. Still an advantage for EWAVE here in terms of rounds, and they were just looking to continue to pick up these rounds here. Already 2-1. You could argue 2 rounds is the kind of minimum you want on a constant attack split. Anything after this is almost a bit of a bonus. I'm sure EWAVE would still be really wanting to pick up rounds after this to make this just a quicker match and make it all the more easier on their defenses. But as for Team Mxster, I don't want to say things are starting to look a little bit dire. We're only at round 4 after all, not even half of a half that has really fully played out yet, but still, you've got to start asking questions. You've got to start really looking inwards as to how you can fix these issues, because they are being called out continuously. They are really suffering with the intel game, suffering with the gunfights as well. They're bringing the Oryx, and sure, that's a great one-on-one counter with the Blitz, but I don't rate it, I'm afraid. You're so risky with that charge, and you're betting it all on countering a single operator, and aside from that, no utility being brought aside from those prox alarms, which aren't going to really help with a gunfight, and that's the thing that Team Mxster are really struggling with most here.
Interesting picture being drawn right now in terms of the round. I mean, at least it's not the top floor again. In fact, the opening kill going the way of Mxster. It's TJ with that pick. The Ram going down is probably one of the best picks they could get, but that's a nice answer back. A nice response from Zyvan. Through the ceiling. Phasen's already down to 50 HP though, mind. Up on the top floor, assisting with the roam clear here instead of going for the site itself. And Zyvan's up there as well. The one with the diffuser. Ooh! Somehow that kill's come to pass. A nice pick though from Pancha. It feels like EWAVE are crumbling here. At least Gold has a response.
You've got to feel a bit bad for EWAVE and particularly Phasen there. He was on low health, sure, but I'm not quite convinced it should have been a headshot either way.
No, I'm confused by that as well.
Other parts of the attack crumbling, so it doesn't seem like the Blitz was the be-all, end-all as Gold. It's kind of swapped positions now with Ryan. Still wants to get this pick. If he gets it, it's a 2v2 after all, so he should be looking for it, but again, misses his shots, realizes he's in hot territory now as ESA close behind. Mxster also sweeping this top floor. Prox alarm gives his position away. Gold still just looking to try and find one as ESA runs through a wall, gets a pick, a 1v3 now for the Brava. Still in full health, still doable. ESA's low, but he just can't seem to find a single engagement here.
No, indeed. No gunfights being given. Ryan, it's the only one that's sort of even close to it over on the yellow stairs, but that's a shotgun at close range. Honestly, it felt like in that round that EWAVE perhaps didn't even fully realize that the site wasn't the top floor. You could see it was almost like Alio was in sort of a plant position there. Time has been taken down though. The rotate up above has been spotted and realized, hang on a minute, Gold is on a triple kill. And Esther's only on 36 HP. Yeah, sure, Gold. Low on HP himself, but now able to start planting this diffuser yet again. It's going to force Esther into action. Again, the plant doesn't get confirmed. Trying to bait Esther out into the open. The pre-fire is just too good for it. Another round going the way of Mxster. These teams just back and forth at the minute here, Google.
It's very, very close though. I think you've got to consider, sure, a round win is a round win, but it was really messy, and it's showing that EWAVE have still maintained that ability back from map 1 to, well, not exactly win in a disadvantaged situation, but they almost did, right? It was very nearly 3-1, so good for Mxster for cleaning things up at the very end, but they did look quite isolated in terms of that 3v1. There was no real trade set up at all there, and you effectively just gave a player like Gold 3 1v1s, and he very, very nearly capitalized on it. So we're going to need to see some improvements from Mxster after that round, because if you're still just giving EWAVE opportunities like this in a 3v1, they are going to take advantage of it. They were so strong back in map 1. Their teamwork was great, still has been pretty damn good, and it's only going to continue here unless they can really just level up their game, it seems like.
Indeed, the Oryx Kapos again, combining different strategies from the past. And yeah, let's hope we don't see what transpired in the previous attempt of this site again. With the removal of the Blitz, it seems like that definitely isn't going to happen. They have still brought the utility to open up this main breach, right? You got that Thermite, we got a Flores. No EMPs, however, but with 3 Roteros, it should hopefully be enough. But there's nothing on the breach anyway. It's again the same story, just a Goyo canister to prevent the quick entry through. Things looking good right now for EWAVE. They have decent control above. They have the breach opened up, and they still have over 2 minutes left of this round to try and work their advantage. The question is, though, are they going to be able to catch out TJ, who has just flanked down from the top floor?
Yeah, TJ on that Strophos can afford to be really out there on the roam and just, well, I was gonna say teleport back to the site, but that shell's been taken out, so he's actually forced to make the long trek back if need be, so maybe has to be a bit more careful. Still goes for an engagement, as does ESA, both of them winning it out, a 3v5 for EWAVE. This team has been looking so good, but now up against a bit of a brick wall on the basement here. Gold still aware of a potential flank here, which is just stunting the pace of the overall attack and just adding to the list of problems for EWAVE as Mxster is looking to get this 3rd round on the board.
The question for Mxster, though, is where do you go from here? Well, the God does find a pick. Maybe brings things back to something somewhat winnable, but 8 HP, you really wouldn't favor yourself in that gunfight at all. It feels like they're being stalled out a little bit here. Just trying to swing, trying to see if anyone rotates into their lines of sight. You're the attackers. You have to go. You are the ones that really need to get things going here, but instead they're just sitting about and waiting. Yeah, sure, Gold is clearing things with these Roteros, but well, that's the last Rotero left, has maybe spotted a player. I mean, TJ can just flank, is just free to roam about wherever he wants. The time is now only 35 seconds, and again, there's nothing much. Ryan's found a kill onto Gold as well. So it's just these players up on the ground floor. Alio has rotated away, Tiro going downstairs as well, but it feels like too little too late here, Joe. It's a 2v4, now a 1v4 as Ryan finds that long angle shot, and the second comes in from Mxster as well. A bit of a disaster there. EWAVE, I'm not entirely sure what their plan even was. It just felt like they got lost.
I'd really like to see EWAVE in the last round just buddy up. Don't send one guy in alone, because we saw in that round 2 players off on their own, taken out, no chance for trades, immediately a 5v3. And sure, it can still be winnable. We saw back in round 4 that a man advantage like that can still be maneuvered around, but it's really not very likely, particularly when it's doubled down on. So just send in your entries as a pair so they can at least deal some damage, maybe get a trade if one of them's taken out. Because if you let Mxster just take these 1v1s on the defense, I don't care if EWAVE have looked sort of mechanically better. There's just too many factors going in Mxster's favor when you're taking these gunfights that it just isn't looking particularly winnable for EWAVE. Case in point, those past 2 rounds have been a real disaster in the early run as we head to this top floor. Still bringing the Oryx, and honestly, it's working. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of the operator, but it is working. It's certainly finding some kind of niche. It's allowing ESA to frag out. But equally, it's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. If he's taken out early, doesn't really achieve much, that's almost a waste of an operator.
Yeah, very much the same sort of risk reward that we were talking about at the start of this map, and on Chalet as well. As for Mxster, if they can get this 4th round here, that's 3 rounds in a row, they'll secure themselves a fairly standard half. For EWAVE, though, they've already won here on the top floor twice. It seems like this is where they can find success, where they are able to break that Mxster defense down. So, perhaps the 3rd time is the charm. Run out coming through from Mxster. That's downstairs inside of Visa, but no one's on the rappel to be called out by it. The diffuser is, I believe, inside of admin. It's called out themselves right now. Gold with the opening pick, though. is answered back by Pencha, who just gets a bit too aggressive. Tiro shutting things down, and, well, if history is to be believed, then on this map we've had 100% conversion rate so far for the opening pick. That could potentially be all that EWAVE need.
Yeah, and I hate to say it, but ESA taken down early, nothing really achieved. The Oryx not doing much at all. You compare that to Pencha, who at least has got those Capcan traps down. It already used his Nitro on death as well. A lovely shot from Tiro there, but still 4v3 for EWAVE as Tiro is looking for yet another headshot around these Kiba barricades. Needs only a couple more bullets to actually fully destroy them. Instead, looking for the gunfight. That's honestly ill-advised. Just take out the cover and force that as army to take a more fair gunfight. Finally, brings out that Ash breaching charge. Do something about it, but still, I hate to say it, but the attack might have stalled out a little bit here. Clem's in a very strong position, and Faison just goes for the swing for no apparent reason. You can shoot those barricades down now. You can deal with that setup, but instead, Clem's been allowed to get another and a triple on the round. What are we doing, EWAVE? One player has completely eliminated your chances of winning this unless Alumeister can go even larger.
Yeah, and indeed in a 1 versus 2, I just don't know if they're fully aware of these positions from the remaining defenders, face checking everything right now. Pre-fires come through. TJ does give their position away, but Clem is still staying hidden, staying smart. And I think Alio is just completely out in the open there. Do we not know how Kiba barriers work these days? Like, what is going on? They just just a complete and utter catastrophe there for EWAVE. Like, I don't want to sound too like critical, but that change has been in the game for ages now, Joe. Like they didn't shoot out just going for random ass swings to try and clear these positions. And even in the gunfight, they pull out the Ash breaching charge to destroy the Kiba barrier. Your gun can do that. Use that breaching charge for things your gun can't really deal with, like a soft wall, like getting open or cracking a mirror window, or something that's actually going to be useful to the team, instead of just wasting utility when your gun could easily do that, and it would have been less bullets than just pre-firing a spot that no one was there anyway.
A total catastrophe for EWAVE there. It seemed like a breakdown in communication, how Clem wasn't immediately traded out there. Also, it seemed like they were trying to rush it when they had over a minute left. I mean, there were drones in pocket. Why is Faison swinging that? Either way, the final attacking round for EWAVE, unless they get to OT, and really that looks to be the goal for them now, 2-4 down. They're on the defense, and they're no longer going to have to really worry about droning out positions, so that's something after how much of a horrid job they did in round 6. But certain other principles, like them rushing things, could still be a bit of a sticking point here as Gold. Looking to rush an early engagement, getting this external wall broken, just crouching, waiting for potential call out from his teammate here. Finally gets it, misses the shots for a little bit, but Ryan's still taken down. An opener for EWAVE, and hopefully a round cleared. Until last round, we did have a 100% conversion, so it seems like things are finally beginning to pay off for EWAVE as Gold gets a double.
Boy. Yeah, that's just sometimes how it goes. 24 HP as well. You can tell that it was a fair gunfight being taken, but the Doc Stim Gold's now back up to full, and more at least for the moment. The 5 versus 3 for EWAVE, we saw on Chalet they like to get aggressive on their defenses, and we saw Mxster, at least in a couple of occasions, be able to punish that aggression when they were on their attacks. This time, though, they haven't been able to get that done, and the player inside of catering, that's Clem, is now in a very tough spot. Pre-fires, the position is known by these players. Faison tries to go for the gunfight, though. I feel like that's not the best idea, especially when you have, say, Tiro with some impact grenades. Matavo Esther has been downed elsewhere downstairs, and there comes the impact grenade instead to finish off that kill. And again, the Doc Stim is missed and nearly shot through the wall there as well. Instead, Gold just finds the frag anyway. Sure, why the hell not? And the kill, okay, I was about to say the kill comes free for Tiro. Instead, it's on for Tiro. Pencha, the last one left in the 1 versus 4, made 1 versus 3. No more stims left. Now all of the damage being dealt is permanent. He has the pre-fires, has the positioning, but now has to try and push up themselves. The player prone, caught out. Come on now, EWAVE. We cannot be giving these kills away. The gold is down on the yellow stairs, might be flanking, and I don't think Pencha is aware about it. Hold on, here's the player, has the pre-fire, but the super shorty comes up big. I was about to say to EWAVE, just play together. He said it on the attack as well, Joe. We want to see them buddy up. Instead, gold goes for that fight and thankfully wins it. Because if they don't win that gunfight, then it's a 1 versus 1. And then it's so winnable for Pencha. And it would have been probably one of the easiest 1v4s they would have ever done in their life, because EWAVE just kept giving them one after one after one.
Yeah, it was a bit of a worrying end round there. Of course, EWAVE still did win it. They've still got themselves up to a pretty strong foot to begin their second half. Goal particularly, a 4K on that round. Fantastic from him. But yeah, trades need to be done here. We saw 3 individual 1v1s in that 1v4. And finally, in that third one, gold did come out on top. A phenomenal round from him there. Unlucky for Pencha because he did such a good job of making that almost winnable. But again, the early round, just too much of a disadvantage for him to cope with. EWAVE have headed down this basement now. It's a very breach-heavy defense here. We're seeing that Kayad, we're seeing the Tuberao as well. Valk being brought, so that's a lot of intel for the defense. Interesting to Mozzie here. Phazon just on the roam. I guess the drone jamming abilities of those Mozzie tests being used to just force a little bit more time investment into the roam clear, but on his own, Mozzie can't really provide much in terms of that stalling potential, so honestly, I think he's just playing it for the gun.
Yeah, I mean, the Commando is pretty good. You could also play Sentry with that gun. So, you know, that's an opportunity, an option. But, you know, like you say, not often we see Mozzie in isolation. Normally, it is the Mute Mozzie combo. Unfortunately, for Mxster, they have lost the opening pick here. It is, again, unfortunately for them, onto the Blitz, which definitely is ideal. And Mxster's just been swung into by Clem, somehow loses that gunfight.
I mean, looking at the outline, I assumed he'd be behind a wall. Nope, he's just in that room, playing very aggressive on the Kayad with TCSG. He wins it, Saban, I guess, takes that as an opportunity to get even more aggressive. This time doesn't work. Pencha gets the first kill for his team in this round. It's still a 4v3 though, but he's got a double.
Not again.
This player just being allowed to heat up. It seems like it's him versus gold in a lot of these rounds as gold himself taken down. Still an even man count, still should favour the defense, but Pencha's got a triple. Phazon's finally making his way back to the site, but now with the man disadvantage, EWAVE are starting to flounder him.
They just keep giving Pencha 1v1s. It's the exact same 2 rounds in a row. They haven't learned their lesson. And TJ takes down Phazon, who again just started to try to get aggressive. It's now left to Mxster in a 1v3 on the site. This is really annoying me now, EWAVE, because every time it's the same damn story. They give players 1v1s, they lose them out, and they don't learn from it. It happened on Chalet multiple times. It's been happening on Consulate the whole map through. Mxster are 5-3 up now, and it's all down to EWAVE just shutting their brains off, I guess. They gave Pencha 3 separate 1v1s in that round again. This time, they lost all 3 of them.
But there needs to be a timeout either. I think this is a real pivotal round where there should have been a timeout because there is a glaringly obvious flaw, and that is there's no trades. We're 5-3 up, and we're just offering ourselves up a silver platter to their top frag and just waiting to die. It's horrifically bad, if I'm being completely honest here, as EWAVE attempted this basement yet again. They had such a good start in that last round, taking out the Blitz, the real kind of driving force of that attack instantly, and they still find a way to fuck it up because Pencha is just being allowed to heat up. He's being allowed to get kill after kill after kill. EWAVE You have to respond to this issue. You can't keep hiding from it and playing the same way, because slowly now Mxster has been warming up in this series as a team, now in the advantage in terms of rounds, and they could very, very easily take this map now based on this previous performance, particularly with Pencha just looking more and more lethal. EWAVE have got to put a stop to things. They've got to get a round win on the board. They've got to ideally even up this round count at least, just to give themselves a chance of taking this in 2 maps, because if not, Nighthaven Labs seems like an inevitability.
Yeah, and with the way that they've been playing this map, I don't really have the most amount of faith in terms of that Nighthaven Labs. The C4 shot out early, 2 morale canister trying to deny, but well, at least for one of them it doesn't work. Instead, the breach still not opened up. I'm unsure of whether the kite trick is going to be able to come through. The EMP comes out again, another Zota canister used, and in fact the last Zota canister used. One of those breaches has been opened up, actually a second now as well. The placement of that utility not quite there, and the trick cannot come in. So now that kite claw can come in elsewhere. The electric claw being used, I guess, on the hatch above, and indeed, yes, holding the long angle now with the TCSG. It is a pretty deadly weapon, but the situation doesn't look good.
Doesn't, but it does seem like Mxster maybe aren't quite as fast as this previous round. Pencha as well hasn't had an insane start to this round like he has in previous ones, so that's something for EWAVE as well, but still, map control getting dangerously close to site now. They've taken servers over entirely, and that breach is open too, so I love this split pressure from the attack here as ESA getting another breach open, just another avenue to scare the defense with, forcing Tira to get a bit aggressive and go for a swing. Fazen's been taken down. Pencha's got another double.
Another triple!
Triple for him? What's going on?
EWAVE, help yourselves out here, please! Try and take a sensible gunfight! But instead, you got players just jumping down hatches, swinging around, taking the 1v1s. Again, it happens every single time, and this time, Mxster, they don't even need to go down a player. They just get the opening pick, and they get themselves onto match point here. On Consulate, at least. Just 1 round away from taking us to Nighthaven Labs, and yes, the history doesn't look great. Yes, it was a 7-0 to EWAVE, but Mxster, they have the momentum heading into that 3rd map. They absolutely would. They're just dominating here on Consulate, excuse me. And they have momentum. EWAVE, their mental's probably boomed, and they just keep making the same mistake. And again, we don't see a timeout come in.
I mean, look at the kill counts in EWAVE as well. 2 and 6, 5 and 8, 2, 7, 4 and 6, and then 14 and 8. It's just gold, really, to be perfectly honest. Sure, I'm confident these other players are finding impact in other ways, but ultimately, the kills are kind of what matter here. If every round is being finished on deaths, you need to be getting kills here. So gold being the only one positive. Sure, he's had a damn good map, but it's just not good enough comparing it to Mxster, who've obviously got Pencha as that star player, but there's still other members going positive. There's other members winning these one-on-ones. EWAVE, they've just got to go for trades here. If you can even out the man count, it inherently favors you on the defense, but it seems like Pencha is just eating them up, and there is no chance they have to get a trade. It's just a bit sad to watch here as TJ eyeing up the window jumping, but thinks better of it. He's on this blitz, but I think he's on his own, so that is a real chance to get this opener and keep it for EWAVE.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Not inside of the building just yet. Prepping the shield and the flash just on the scaffolding for now, droning out as well. In fact, it looks like the yellow stairs will be the point of entry for this player. But they're not getting too ahead of themselves, right? They're sending in the drones, they're making sure they have the information. This is a marked improvement from Chalet, because they are actually droning, they are actually putting them to good use, but they are being used up fairly quickly. Only 3 drones left in just this first minute, and now the jumping comes in. 41 HP already. Candelas don't really connect either. And the goo mine coming through as well for these players. Going to make things very, very difficult. Now down to 38 HP and continuing to tick down. This is very, very dangerous. The second half of this round is going to be very, very difficult. This window plant is going to be the play, but Gold tries to go for one, indeed gets it, but there's 2 kills in response. Mxster prone, taking down Esther, now Diffuser surrendered inside of the site. No more Yin Candelas, and the player is able to find it, the melee onto the Blitz, Tiro as well. It's all down to Ryan in a 1 versus 3. Surely this is a round that EWAVE can get across the board as long as they don't give Ryan 1v1s, because we saw it when Pencha was in a 1v4 and it took 3 1v1s to try and find the kill. Tiro's already been found on the hatch, and now Ryan goes for the drop. He's going to try and secure this at least for the KD, has to try and reload and just dips away in time. The player so damn close to finding that pick, to finding that engagement, using the Gemini clone as well. Ayana, not necessarily the most common pick these days, but good use being brought out. Unfortunately, Phaeton topped out outside, and the round is collected by EWAVE. Thank God that they were able to win that, by the way, because I would have blown my top.
Yeah, if they thrown another man advantage, 1vx, I don't think I would be able to handle it. At the very least, they did win it, and they won it in a much more dominant fashion. Despite a couple early blows on the side of Mxster there, they still picked themselves up, particularly with this kill onto TJ. Phenomenal from Mxster there. But even if he did die, I mean, the way all those defenders were positioned, all very close together, there was certainly going to be a trade, right? I mean, surely, I liked how they were all together. They could all pick up the slack if one of those members lost a 1v1. And guess what? It resulted in them winning that round and getting 1 step closer to overtime. 2 rounds in a row are required here. The first would be on press. Not the strongest site statistically, but still, you get a good top 4 hold, you can certainly waste a lot of the attacker's time, and I would imagine that's what they're going for with this Solace, with the Vigil as well, just roaming above to try and hopefully get a kill, but at the very least bleed down the time on that clock to make it so the Execute is coming in with a lot less time and really force the attack to make a lot of risks, not really think as well, as hard on some of these decisions, and just go in the moment, try and find something. And that should favour EWAVE. However, when you've put players like Pencha in those positions, they have historically thrived in the series, so it's something they've got to be careful of it.
Yeah, it absolutely is going to be a worry to see, because they have been giving things away, have EWAVE. Obviously, I've been very critical, you've been very critical. It is still a bit of a problem for them. At least the opening pick goes their way this time around. That's Sivan with it, and a double as well, actually. The entry in towards admin, very much not successful here for the side of Mxster. At least there's a response. Tiro falling, that's your Jaeger. At least the utility should already be down, and Phaeton still inside of admin as well. Backed up by Zyron, the player on the rappel. Not going to be able to see through those Kiba barriers, and Clem isn't going to be able to do much in this round anymore after having been taken out themselves. Entry in downstairs in towards Visa, probably been heard, definitely spotted on the camera, and now the only point of attack. EWAVE. This is looking so much better. Where was this before?
Yeah, I mean, part of that you could maybe pin on Mxster regressing back to their window repelling ways, right? We saw 2 of them around admin getting immediately swatted away. So very nice from EWAVE to identify that weakness and make the most of it. But yeah, just again, playing together, making sure there's no real opportunity for these players to get unanswered picks as Esther misses some shots, taken down by Phaser. EWAVE now only 1 away from overtime. This is certainly looking like more of a competitive match than it was a couple rounds ago. We would have almost struck it off entirely as going to Nighthaven Labs, but now EWAVE have almost clawed their way back to OT. Team Mxster still in the driver's seat, could still win it out here, but it's going to be a basement defense. And just in terms of the statistics, in terms of the way this map usually plays, EWAVE really should be favored here.
Indeed, they absolutely should.
Attackers need to locate
Heading into the 12th round, though. things
Attackers have located a bomb.
looking. I mean, to be honest, Joe, it's kind of on a knife's edge, right? Which way this goes. The previous times we've seen this basement, though, we've seen Pencha get a triple kill. To put it bluntly, we have seen Pencha just be able to march across from this server side and just find 3.
10 seconds remaining.
So, for the sake of EWAVE, let's hope that doesn't happen this time.
5 seconds to
I mean, with the way last round was played and the round before that, you'd think that certainly those same mistakes aren't going to happen, right? But at the same time, it's an Ash with an R4C. Anything could happen, right? If there's a player that came
Anything can happen.
behind the monitor.
Yeah, indeed. Well, let's head into. Let's see. Everyone, keep your bingo cards ready. Does Pencha get another 3K on this site? Just have to wait for that one instead. A bit less of a traditional breaching going on here with the EMP on the main breach. Sure, you've got a Maverick over here on emergency exit, and oh, gold. What? Hello? What?
Why?
What? What? Were they looking through the drone hole? What was going on there?
Must have been, and it was such a good play from Gold. In the heat of the moment, isolating that pick and finding it, but then an immediate blunder. Followed it up, we could be in a 5v4 here. Gold, the top player for EWAVE, could still be alive, still be going back to site, holding angles with that DMR. Instead, he gets too over-aggressive. He found what he thought was a fortune, and unfortunately, he just got completely caught off guard there. Still, even man count, as we've been chatting on, should favour the defense, right? You've got these angles being held, another DMR in the pocket of Mxster, so this should be favouring EWAVE, but Pencha's still on the board. He's already got one.
That's the worry.
Yeah, they're just floating in through server, and look, Saban's been taken down already.
vods doesn't quite land a shot either. Mxster, why are you now swinging this? Come on. Ivan is a dead man, okay? They can... Everyone is here inside a server, it seems like. No one wants to let this area of the map go, and I don't think this is the right play to cede that control, because now the swing's coming in, and just like that, the game is done. Consulate goes the way of Master Joe. We are heading to Nighthaven Labs.
Yeah, once again, the team that previously lost the map cannot make good on their promise of winning it in the rematch. It was 8-7 against EWAVE in their previous series of ESA Cup Season 9, and once again, they lose out the map. We'll be heading to map 3, be heading to Nighthaven, as we've been saying, we've been alluding to throughout this cast. Last time we were there with these two teams, a 7-0 victory for EWAVE in those quals.
Yeah, this game was so chaotic that I just don't even exist anymore. I'm a figment of your imagination. I'm a ghost. Oh my god, it was the same problem again. Just give up map control. It is allowed, EWAVE, and I'm talking to EWAVE specifically here, right? I'm pleading to your better judgment. Sometimes you need to know when to let a player go, when to let a room go, because everyone went, oh no, we're gonna lose control of servers. That's almost the site, and they all just tried to take a 1v1, and they all died.
Yeah.
Like, it's the same problem again and again and again. Something that we said about Mxster on Chalet, right? They were able to fix up those issues there on Consulate. Yeah, sure, we did see some slight glimpses of those former demons that came back to plague them in that map, but for the most part, it was seriously improved. As for EWAVE, I mean, you know, we already mentioned on Chalet, you know, they're getting caught out by being too aggressive. Now Mxster are actually able to properly punish them for it. It just looks like they're getting dominated. Even in that 7-5, I honestly think that was still a fairly dominant performance from Team Mxster. It just they did look so good, especially at punishing those really poor plays from EWAVE.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned all the way back at the end of map 1 that it looked like Mxster were beginning to heat up in this series, and well, Consulate has certainly shown that. It's Nighthaven Labs up next after this short break, and we'll see if Team Mxster can make good on that promise and win this series, win the rematch, and make it through and avoid crucially, avoid those elimination matches.
Hello, everyone. We're back. Map 3 is upon us. After Chalet, we did not expect it, but Concert looked like it went all the other way. I'm still Pastor, still joined by Pooble. We have Nighthaven Labs, the third map of our series, the decider, to play with us between EWAVE and Team Master. The winner goes through to that mid-bracket for the third round of Swiss. The loser faces an elimination game. It's all very, very tense, very, very exciting here. Joe Pooble, what are your thoughts on this series so far?
Well, it's been a day for, I guess, attempts at redemption, right? We've pointed out that the last outings on these maps, we saw Chalet lost by Team Master, and they lost it again today, so
they did.
Failed redemption there. We saw EWAVE last lose Consulate. Well, they lost it in map 2 here. Now on Nighthaven, these two teams played it in the quals. 7-0 to EWAVE. So if we're being a bit superstitious and we follow the trend, EWAVE should be winning this series. But Team Master have looked vastly stronger than they did on map 1. They've been heating up throughout the series, and now it seems like they're about to reach a boiling point. We could very well see a 7-0 here in the other direction, Cam, if Team Master are just going to continue this pace, continue this individual skill from players like Pencha. But equally, EWAVE have still looked strong in this series. They could still come out to play on Nighthaven. I'm not quite sure which side they start on here. So if they start on the defense, they can have a much easier time.
It's the same as Consulate.
So that's actually not a great start for them. Team Master once again going to have those defenses just rack up some rounds early on. But on the opposite hand, if EWAVE say win 3 in that first half, they're actually looking at a pretty nice second half. So a lot could be determined in this first half of Nighthaven.
Yeah, it absolutely could. Now, Labs, I don't know. It's looking scary. It's looking very, very scary. Because I think it kind of has a lot of the same features of Consulate, at least the ones that were causing EWAVE problems. So this could be, like you said, maybe a 7-0 the other way. I wouldn't be quite so sure about that. Master also seemed fairly content with throwing quite a few rounds themselves. So obviously we'll have to see which version of these teams we see come through. But they have banned the Montaigne again. Obviously, Chalet, EWAVE used the Monty to just an insane level. So yeah, no more Monty. We saw it on Consulate. They ended up winning it. Let's bring the same ban in here. Do EWAVE still stick with the Dockerby Malusi, or do they switch it up?
Well, looks like the Dokabi's immediately taken off the board. Again, can't really blame them. Nighthaven's such a large map that these two operators that make roam clearing so much quicker, obviously you're going to want to get rid of them. However, EWAVE didn't look the best without them on their attacks on Consulate. And you compare that to Team Master, who were just more than happy to play entirely gunfight focused, with like the Ash, with the Ram. Malusi take off the board once again. So it's these same bans for EWAVE here, seemingly no matter what the map at all. Of course, they still are, I'd say, pretty appropriate for Nighthaven Labs. Malusi really strong on a lot of maps, particularly in console play. Those Banshees are just so good at locking down things like staircases, like corners, and Nighthaven has a lot of them. Mirror off the board again, so it's going to be, I believe, identical to Consulate here.
It is. But it does raise a few questions. Again, the Valkyrie still coming through, probably one of the main ones. Fenrir as well, who we haven't actually seen much play from Fenrir throughout this game. Still very, very strong. Tuberal, a potential possibilities, a lot of opportunity for tricked breaches. So maybe you might see a Kaid ban or a Bandit ban. In fact, obviously, Kaid Electroclaws are easier to trick than with or easier to deny than the Bandit batteries with a Thatcher. But instead, we see a Bandit come through and a Thatcher come through. Obviously, Attack are able to switch up their lineup. We're down to the basement for the first go of things here on Labs. And if things are going to be standard, we will see that main breach be opened up, Animus be opened up by the Thermite. trying to deny some of that away with the Thatcher as well. But there is a bit more
Seconds left.
of an explosive side being brought here by EWAVE. They've got a Jackal for the roam clear. They've got an Ash. They also have a Blitz. Now, we saw this to mixed success here on Consulate. What do we reckon the outcomes will be on Nighthaven Labs? Because I don't know. I do kind of like this. Maybe not for the basement is the only thing.
It's looking like a direct site hit, right? We're seeing that single wall opened up immediately, but it's single wall, so very, very easy for the Bandits to trick it. Clem instantly rotating towards the other site. If they can go 2 for 2 here, that'd be insane. It looks like the wrong wall being tricked, though, so Clem, very least, picking up that battery. I'm not really sure where else you could use it, but it's a bit more utility in pocket. But crucially, that first thing being tricked away means the element of surprise is kind of gone. Already phased and rotated elsewhere. Doesn't check his corners and gets taken down instantly. An opening pick for Team Mxster to kick off Nighthaven Labs.
Yeah, very good start for them, and it's onto the Blitz. A very execute-focused operator, and one that you would expect to be used at the very end of rounds. The roam clear also not working out. Pancha has been able to find a pick. Now Tiro upstairs, trying to collect onto this one, but Pancha's already back down in storage, rotating away, keeping themselves out of sight, out of mind, at least for now. The kill comes in, and the player Scarpas scatters to the wind. It's actually Esper that's been spotted out here, and Pancha, well, that's the opportunity to strike. Zyban going down, well distracted. A 2 versus 5 now. Team Mxster yet again looking like they're in the driver's seat. Tiro, good for 1 gold a second. So maybe... Oh no. These rounds are being thrown again, but Tiro's on 1 HP.
Yeah, pre-placed Nitro Cell there as well. That Tiro cannot get within a sort of 50-foot radius of because he will die. And oh my god.
Oh
An advantage now established for EWAVE. Very, very
They're
low.
so low.
1 bullet from the SMG-12 will kill either of these 2 attackers. So it's all going to be down if they can actually leverage this man advantage. Can EWAVE finally play a 2v1 properly?
That is going to be the question. Obviously, it's a difficult one to play in the best of circumstances. The pre-placed C4 by Ryan still in effect. He doesn't have the information. Looking for the player. Now knows that they've rotated and sets his eyes on the breach. That is the correct read, the correct play, because that's where EWAVE are setting themselves up. And again, the SMG-12, but Gold nailed him through the wall. A 2 versus 5 that Mxster throw away. And now that's something that we said pretty constantly about EWAVE on Consulate. This time it's roles reversed.
I mean, it was looking really, really dire for the side of EWAVE there, as you can see. 2v5, Penja already unlocked on this map, seemingly, but those same mistakes that plagued EWAVE, yeah, they were really coming back to bite Team Mxster, just taking these one-on-one engagements. It seems like they were getting a bit too overconfident after how they won Consulate, and now they've already lost a round. Sure, it's just 1 round. It is an attacking round win, though, on Nighthaven, so that is something that does need to be sort of quite heavily weighted, though. These are rounds you shouldn't be losing for the defense, especially on basement, and especially 5v2. As for Mxster, they just got to hope. Look, they've just got to not let this tilt them, right? They've got to not get in a kind of negative mindset and just take away the one crucial fact there that they just need to work on their trades. Hell, it's the same thing they've seen time and time again from their opponents. It should be pretty easy to understand that you just need to use that man advantage more in your favor. Actually take gunfights together, not just go for 1v1s, because sure, they might have gone your way every single time on Consulate. But we're not on Consulate anymore. We're on Nighthaven. We're in a new map. Fresh mental mindset for EWAVE. They've got to be playing smarter here because it looks already like they're kind of losing the battle of aim here to a newly invigorated EWAVE.
Yeah, the positive, though, that Mxster can take from this game, or from that round so far, is that, well, EWAVE won the first attack on Consulate as well, and it didn't matter. So, There's an opportunity here. And, well, it looks like they're taking it for now. TJ with the opening pick. The player being spotted as well. Zyvan somehow not dead yet. Pencha just cannot quite land those shots. Pinned out by the E1D. And again, still trying to take this fight. It's 1v1 after 1v1. Aggression on aggression. Again, it feels like the roles are reversed here, Joe, because this is exactly what we were saying about EWAVE for basically the whole series. And now they have pings on players thanks to this Jackal as well.
Yeah, Fazen's looking to even things up, but oh no, it's a reinforced wall. You can't shoot through that. At least you certainly shouldn't be able to. Some players might have found ways to circumvent that limitation, but not him. EWAVE looking to almost be a 3v5 deficit. Looks like Zaven's managed to secure himself, but still low health for both of these typically entry players. And with gold taken down as well. Mxster again put themselves up to a great start. 3v5 or almost 2v5. Zaven does manage to get the trade there, so it's better than last time. However, still not a great situation at all, unless Mxster can clutch up big here, but unfortunately doesn't read the rotation at all. Doesn't know this defender's still on that first floor, in fact. Very lucky to be alive here. Does take down that Goyo canister, so limits his own mobility, but just does it to be safe, I suppose, as Fazen knows there's a player on these stairs. Team Mxster still getting very, very aggressive here, Cam, for no real reason, as Fazen gets another 3v3. How has this happened? Pencha, another double on the round, but it's still not a secure win for Mxster as of yet.
No, it really isn't. It feels like maybe they're just feeling a little bit insecure on the site, getting a bit antsy. They just can't seem to sit still. Instead, just moving about, trying to find a perhaps better angle. Instead, it's not working out for them. That's a nice C4, though, downing Mxster with Fazen quite a ways away and on low HP himself. This makes the round pretty winnable. The flashbang goes in, if only just to distract and deny for now. Unfortunately for them, though, they still haven't got the diffuser, and there's only 15 seconds left. This time, there's no even semblance of a push. No hard reach downstairs. They're all on this vertical. They're just going to have to go for kills at this point in time. Dropping the hatch has been heard out. Pencha with a triple this time as well, and the player's been spotted. Clem shuts it out. A clean round for Team Mxster in the end.
Yeah, that's the round I'm sure they were hoping for back in round one. Just never really not in a commanding position. Each short, it got to 3v3 very briefly there, but the infrastructure was set up. The trade came in pretty soon after, and still, despite all of that, as you said, there's no breach on site. There's no way for the attack to get quick access. They would have had to fight like hell to get in a position to win, and they just couldn't do that. Mxster finally get that round on the board still. Even round count, only onto round 3 as well. So EWAVE could very easily bring this half in their favor, but so far Mxster have looked pretty damn dominant. Opening picks galore for them. Both times it went to a 3v5, at least 2v5 back in round 1 as well. So EWAVE need to be playing a lot better in this early round, because sure, occasionally you can clutch up big, like we saw at the start of this map, but that's kind of the outlier. That's the fringe case, right? Usually if you're taking hefty losses like that early, you're gonna lose the round, simple as. So we need to see a real, properly coherent effort from this team to have a better early round. Because if not, it's going to be an absolute wipe for Team Mxster. Could very easily end up being something like a 7-1, 7-2, unless EWAVE can drastically change their game plan.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, they are still on their attacks on this map. Famously, a very difficult map to attack on. But we've seen it get easier with time, especially with nerfs coming through to Azami and Fenrir, who really did make this map their own, it feels like. It's sitting in a fairly decent place right now. Breach coming in early. This site here on the ground floor, often played as a tertiary for teams. They do not really like playing this site, and for good reason why is if the attack can get a plant down, at that point it's basically over. Unfortunately for them though, there's already an opening pick going the way of Team Mxster. It is answered back upon by Zyvan. Mxster's trying to get aggressive, trying to find collect onto another to keep the advantage in the hands of Team Mxster, but just forced to concede that engagement. It's 4 versus 4.
Yeah, a lot of these Goyo canisters already popped though, so that's a lot of time-wasting utility that has been kind of wasted here. There's no real effort onto this top floor yet. There's seemingly no way they want to be able to open that wall. I mean, surely Gold can just rotate here to deal with those bandit batteries, but times are ticking, and Zaben's got another one at least traded out himself. It's yet again an even man count, but Gold's just holding an angle here. Is he just trying to shoot the batteries, I suppose? He's in sight now, so there's something's happened. They're clearly getting that wall open. Gold's made good.
Alio's got the kit. Alio, the one upstairs, is the one with the diffuser.
Flexing as Fazen's been taken down. EWAVE, what happened in this round? It looked to be so winnable.
Oh.
No, it's a 1v3.
It absolutely is. It's all on Gold again. Seems like the player that had to do everything for EWAVE on Consulate, and even still it wasn't enough. Now in a 1 versus 2, picks up the diffusers, able to get away, but even still, Vertical's being watched, the angles are being held. And these two players, the shotgun there is gonna find it, and I don't know, it just doesn't seem to be aware that the angle's opened up above. It's not a quiet weapon by any stretch of the imagination. But either way, it's another round converted upon the opening pick there for Team Mxster. EWAVE are yet to find an entry. Maybe that could be a good thing, you could argue, if you're looking at the numbers. The team that's had the most opening picks in both of the previous maps has ended up losing it. But even still, I don't think that's necessarily something that you should be hoping that you lose the opening pick. So by some some cruel twist of fate that you end up winning the map. I think that's more outliers happening a couple of games in a row. Like, I wouldn't put my faith in that and being like, well, EWAVE are gonna win this map because they're not getting the entrance, because that's just a stupid statement to make.
Yeah, I mean, sure, right, the team in these past 2 maps that have been losing entries have won rounds. Crucially, they've also been winning the rounds though, right? EWAVE 1 for 2 in that pursuit, and even then, it should probably be 0-3, right? Round 1 was an insanely well-played 5-5 from those 2 players. Shouldn't have been allowed to get away with that at all. It seems like Team Mxster have really ensured that nothing like that slips through the cracks again. They will be on this top floor this time, and seems like the breach is going to be the main play for the attack. Both the Maverick and the Thermite being brought, as well as EMPs from Gridlock. Gold, though, he's on a bit of a sneaky push by himself in the basement, and we've really criticized a lot of these teams for going on these solo pushes because there's no chance for a trade, and the lack of trades has been a big flaw for both of these teams during the series. Still, Gold, very fast, but he's met with a barricade. That's going to be a sound cue. That's going to clue in the defense's position. A lot of damage dealt to these defenders in the meantime, though.
Oh, interesting. Apparently, the sound cue didn't even matter. I think maybe it forced Ryan into going for the engagement, baited them into it, and was able to capitalize there. On the Aqua stairs, an impact grenade coming through, and now wary of being flanked upon himself. Fortunately, he's just chasing ghosts at the minute there. There's still going to be some time taken away. Even still, the first entry coming through for the side of EWAVE in this map. And they are looking to put it to good use.
Yeah, not wanting to rush and execute here. Zaven just creeping in towards that catwalk. Hasn't taken a single point of damage so far. Nearly takes down Mxster. As elsewhere, Pencha, he's got 1. Mxster getting the trade onto Clem, though. Pencha's activated.
So good.
A double for him. I guess his first must have been a down or something. ESA gets another. And once again, this one player has been allowed to single-handedly win the round. It's 3-1 to Team Mxster. The only sort of bright spots we've seen from EWAVE have been on a clutch. Everything else, it's been Team Mxster's game to win. And it looks to be just continuing that way.
They really are not sustainable. You can't be like, well, we won that one round. It was a clutch. It was a 2v5. Mxster, they've really buttoned up their play now. The T's are crossed. The I's are dotted. They've done their ironing. Everything is just crisp, clean perfection right now. And EWAVE just do not seem to be able to crack into this Mxster defense. They've already done better than they did the last time around, but now they look like they're in a really winning position. 3 rounds to 1. And aside from that momentary blip, when maybe they got a little bit silly, they have looked like like they're unstoppable on this map so far. Because again, that first round they were in a 5v2. If we ignore the silliness after that point, they just look like they can't be stopped. And Penta is 9-2, a power player on Consulate, and again is stepping up massive when it counts right now.
Yeah, I really think that first round just sort of shook Team Master and made them realize that they cannot afford to be making these mistakes because EWAVE will capitalize on them. So they very simply decided not to make any mistakes whatsoever. It seems like they are just winning everything here. Zaven looking for not exactly a Maverick trick, just a line of sight to spook away that bandit, but there's no actual dedicated hard breach near him. He does get the pick. Oh, wow. Kind of offering himself up for no real reason. Another opener for EWAVE here, and that is the bandit. There's no need for a trick though, because you don't have that thermite really, and it looks like Zaven's going to be on pure breach duty for this basement site. So that's some kind of silver lining in that engagement, but still, a body lost is a body lost, and Fazen's doubled down. TJ's been taken down. ESA off-site as well. So really, it could potentially be a 2v5 on site very quickly. At the very least, ESA takes down Gold. He's been a really impactful player in this series so far, but he's also on a very low amount of health here.
Yeah, and with no docks being brought along like we saw in perhaps previous maps, it's going to mean that that's all that ESA's ever going to have. But instead, it's the other two players that come up big. Ryan and Pencha again. Of course, it's Pencha. 10 kills already here, and we're not even in the end of round 5. At least Alio does answer back, taking down ESA, who, yes, was low on HP, but now it's a 2 versus 2. That's infinitely better.
It is, but Pencha, as you said, still on the board, still getting aggressive. If he can pull another round out of the hat, I would be shocked. The default cam is up as well towards our vending, so that's another bit of intel the defense can use. Ryan, smartly playing close to that breach, doesn't want to be another victim of those Maverick holes, but I think it's going to be just a pure exo-side take. Pencha looking to get a bit of support here as Ryan's holding that shield angle. There's a lot of utility that still has to be maneuvered around by EWAVE, and the timer is starting to hit kind of critical points here. Less than 50 seconds.
Yeah, indeed. Vertical being opened up, though, by Mxster on that butt. Hatch is opened up as well, but crucially, nothing being found so far, and there's still time that's being taken away. Ryan does have to be careful, though. The ceiling opens up above him. Sightlines gained now for the attack, but where are they going to push? It seems like a similar problem again. They don't necessarily have a concrete game plan to EWAVE. It means that there are those possibilities. Pencha's still inside of EXO. They might not know about it. He's just going to get shot in the back. Pencha coming up with the goods. Shut down, though, by Tiro. Now into a 1 versus 1 with a solo on time. Knows the players around the shield. Ryan shuts things down, and yet again, EWAVE crumble.
And yet again, it's Pencha, the one turning the tides. How is he allowed to do this? How are EWAVE continuously falling victim to this player? 4-1 now for Team Master. They've locked in that 4-2, and honestly, 5-1 is probably going to happen at this rate. Because even when EWAVE have carved themselves up around they were surely going to win, these individual players step up on the side of Team Master. So now for EWAVE, it's a case of, can they not lose this half as badly? Can they lock in 2-4, give themselves something to work with on their defenses? Or are they just going to sort of end this series on a bit of a whimper? Because a 5-1 is almost certainly going to be a win for Team Master unless we have an insanely strong streak from EWAVE. So they really have to pull out all the stops here, I'd imagine. If they don't win this round, it's probably going to be over. Luckily, it's going to be on this first floor site, typically considered to be a tertiary, so that's something. But last time it was the first floor site, we saw EWAVE completely stall out, and they lost it in a kind of embarrassing fashion, so they are still going to need to bring their absolute A game.
No fan of that Kiva barrier apparently. Destroying it straight away. As for the side of EWAVE, they're going for something similar again. They've got the Maverick alongside, this time an Ace as well, to try and bolster up the breaching capabilities of this lineup. And in fact, one of the sides is left open now, unable to be put down upon with this bandit battery. And in fact, Clem's on 10 HP. He can't quite escape from IT. He's now stuck in a corner. The push coming in should be able to try and clear him, but instead, no, he's able to get away, only down, but that will actually heal him up 10 points of health. He's on 10 HP before that engagement, now picked up onto 20.
Mxster, though, instantly jumped in, gets one. It's not actually the bandit, so a much better pick as Penche taken down as well. Oh my god, actually EWAVE jumping into life with Clem on that downed HP as well.
Hang on a minute.
It's all on Clem. It's an absolute just wave of kills. EWAVE coming in, looking to finish this half strong. It'll still only be a 2-4, but that's something. They can make a map out of this. They can make a series win out of this. Clem in the 1v3. Low on health, but so are two of his opponents. So that's something he could potentially work with. Nitro Cell as well is available. But that plant is certainly going to be getting down very, very soon. A minute and a half left. So if EWAVE want, they could take it slow, but they want to turn the clock in their favor. Mxster sticking the case. It's going to be this 45 seconds remaining for Clem. Can they win it out here? 3 to find. One of them is on full health. The other's quite low. A single bullet will do it, but Clem looks the wrong way. Caught off guard. Zaven gets the pick. And EWAVE, they've had a horrific first half, but they end it on success. And that might be all they need.
And finally, they convert an opening kill too. It was their third opening pick of the game, and the first one that they've actually been able to get into a round win. Now they head onto the defense. You're exactly right, Joe. A 4-2 half is what they needed. Not necessarily what they would have wanted, but at least it's a start. Something to springboard off of, and it was a very good round to end the half. Momentum potentially in their favor. They've certainly halted the momentum of Team Mxster because that round was anything but close. Now it's a chance for them to strut their stuff on the defense. A chance for EWAVE to show who's boss here. Because, again, the defense is often very, very favored on Nighthaven Labs.
It is, although you could argue the defense is also favored on Consulate, and we saw how that played out with Team Mxster in particular.
Yeah.
Penche just getting a hell of a load of opening picks. So there's still certainly potential for this to still be a quick map, but I think after that round, you've really got to point out how crucial that 2v5 might end up being, right? It really started to look like it was just a kind of meaningless round, and Team Mxster are just going to roll over them anyway, but now that 2v4 split has been locked in, that round's actually really important, and the later we get into this map, the closer that it gets, Team Mxster might start kicking themselves for it, and we could see a bit of a degradation in their mental game. So certainly a factor to consider here is there's a lot of aggression towards this front office side. We saw a player Froning there, so you could be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, absolutely could. Penche down to 48 HP from that C4 that was thrown by Zyvan. But they get themselves away from there, now back up to the top floor and keeping themselves alive and safe primarily. The first port of call. Still a 5 versus 5. The breach looking to be opened up at some point soon. The Thermite on side and Ace as well. There aren't many EMPs. In fact, there aren't any EMPs. They're going to have to try and go for the vertical on that play, and I don't know how well that's going to work out. In fact, well, they found the breach, so something positive from that, and the impact grenades aren't landing themselves. Things stay in a 5 versus 5 right now. Some small amounts of damage dealt, but there's a big chunk back the other way. The defense now suddenly find themselves in a bit of a sketchy position with Zyvan down to 16 HP.
They've still got all 5 guns up there. That's the crucial point. They've got a Nitro as well. Keeper barricades potentially able to be put down. Finally, opener goes the way of Team Mxster. Instantly though, the smoke comes out to respond. They're not allowing Team Mxster to make the most of it. But another entry comes in instead. That's going to be Clem, quickly taken down, but still 3v4. Zyvan and Phazon are still also very low. But 3 defenders alive. Gold finally puts the shield down. We're entering the final minute almost. EWAVE almost in a strong position, but TJ getting that plant down. I don't think they realise it's happening. Penche gets 1. The case is down 2. 2 versus 4. EWAVE, what happened to this round?
It's so bizarre how that's been able to happen pretty much under their noses. Especially with one inside a warehouse, one inside a command center, both of them shut down by Penche. Continuing to deliver for the side of Team Master. It's Penche again as they find their 5th.
I'm at a loss for words almost. It seemed like EWAVE had that on lock. 5v5 with less than half the round remaining on top floor, but they just, a couple crucial blind spots allow for Team Master to just get into sight and get a pick. Fantastic from Team Master to isolate those weak spots. Really just shows an incredible amount of knowledge on those players. But how is EWAVE allowing that to happen? How are we in a position where they can just walk in through IT, or they can just wander in through connector and get a pick? How is this happening? Why are we allowing it to sort of continue as Team Master have now gotten to that 5-round point? One away from map point and series point. That's got to put a bit more pressure on EWAVE here as they've head down to this basement. It's a very strong site, sure, but also if you concede all that map control too early on the first floor, it can be quite difficult to actually defend. And with a player like Pencha on that attacking team, he's going to be just running at them, running at those roamers. So if they concede map control too early, it's going to be a bit of a nightmare for the defense.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Now, we've seen the first round of the half go the way of the attack. Doesn't necessarily have any bearing on how the rest of the half is going to go. It happened on Consulate in the first half event. It happened in the first half of Nighthaven Labs as well. But just something feels a little bit different about the way that Team Master won that round. Something feels like they are still setting themselves up for success inside of this one. They got a Jackal. Again, a move away from the traditional hard breach, instead of just going with a Maverick, but some hard breach charges, some secondary EMPs. But Cybans has been downed, not quite taken out the round just yet, but as I say it, Ryan makes good on that promise and definitely securing the advantage for the attacking side. A 5 versus 4 yet again for this team, and Esther's going to double down on it. The player who found it down onto Ryan now with another phase and does answer back, and there's another kill from Tiro. Unspotted, flanking up behind, but Ryan answers back again. The 2 versus 3 so early on.
And it's probably the 2 most crucial operators there as well. That Azami and Smoke haven't used their utility in the round yet. I think they were the first to die. Luckily, Tiro gets something out of it, but still a 2v3. No Nitro either. That could have been Gold's saving grace. Instead, he's going to have to hit his shots. So, EWAVE, they're going to just have to win heads-up gunfights here. Meanwhile, well, we've got flashes on the side of TJ and an overall man advantage as well. Clem could even go and find one of the Rosa shields and use it instead. But Ryan, poor timing! Faison gets the pick. It's now 2v2. TJ's close by, but Faison's already dipped. You've got to go for the site now, I think. You can try and make the most of that 2v1, but you've got to be quick.
Clem's still outside as well. I don't know if they actually have a breach on side of this one. So much damage being dealt now. The TCSG shutting out TJ at least for 30 points of health through that wall, but they don't know about the position. The fuse is starting to be planted. Rotation out and around. You're also watching from elsewhere. Pre-fires out, come round for gold. That's Diffuser now surrendered, isolated, cold in the site. And Clem still outside, just a Maverick hole to look through. And they know about it. The hop comes through as well, healing out from FaZe and Gold. And they have the perfect read on the rotation. EWAVE keep themselves in this game, really, with that round. It was must win.
And they really, Team Master, they had a great round for like a solid 60% of it, but they didn't have a backup, right? We saw Clem had no way of getting into sight. If there was a full breach there and they were still behind that shield, there was easily a chance they could win that round because they always could come in and support, offer themselves up as a gunfight. Instead, TJ had to plant in a really exposed position, then had to get off of it because of said position. Meanwhile, all Clem can do is hold 2 very sort of restrictive angles, and Team Master, because of that, they can't react to that 1v2, and they lose the round. EWAVE, were kind of gifted that, to be honest. And sure, it was a really good play from Tira getting that flank, and really nice from Fazen and Gold in that 2v1. But still, it was down to mistakes from Mxster. It's down to a bit of sloppiness in their setup, and you can't rely on that. Luckily, they got around the board. 2 away from evening things up. Mxster's still in the lead though, so they're going to have to continue to play above and beyond here, because they can't keep relying on a team like Team Mxster's mistakes with how good they've played in the series.
Attackers are heading out to defuse the bomb.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, you might look a bit silly saying that, sorry, after that Chalet game, but they have woken up over the course of this, and they've continued to be on that ascendancy. Yes, they did lose the previous round, but still looking good. Storage now, the site of focus, and again, this one is the worry. It's often the tertiary. Teams do not tend to find success defending onto this. As we saw, a 50% success rate from Team Mxster on their own defenses, and Penche again with the kills, with the impact finally shut down without able to find a double. Zyvan answers back, but down low himself. Just 19 points of health on that player. And his teammate has gone down. It's Mxster. Shut out by Esther. Now a 3 versus 4. Getting a bit ahead of myself there. But Fazen's gone for the run out. It works out perfectly, in fact. Esther going down into a 3 versus 3.
They've been scared away from that breach. Look, they've completely, seemingly rotated. Maybe can't blame them, because Fazen did go for that run out and they don't want to get caught up by the same thing again. It looks like it's going to be a reattempt on the IT wall. I don't want to say it, but Team Mxster kind of stalling out here. They still have the potential to cause a lot of issues going towards Connector, getting that wall open. Just need to destroy that meat jammer. Got the fabric hole. Just shoot the jammer. Simple as, surely. Gold having to play very aggressive here. Feels like he needs to be the playmaker, so he's really tight spots, but could easily pay with his life here still. Going to be Zyvan taken down. 2v3. Fazen's down below. He could be a difference maker here. As Ryan taken down, another evening of the man count, but unfortunately the shotgun doesn't work twice. TJ getting that pick. It's a 2v1, but it is Fazen on the enemy team.
It absolutely is. He's been doing good work so far, and has a DMR as well. With TJ down low on HP, can deal a lot of damage. He has been spotted out on the drone though, and it's a difficult weapon to try and use for when those drones actually do try and spot you out, and the shot's coming through. Pre-fires not quite working out. He's read the rotation though inside of the warehouse. He knows that TJ's going to be up here. The flashbang comes on in. I think that might in fact catch. Indeed it does. But the pre-fire not going to land. Lands inside the storage though, trying to flank up from behind, and Fazen, just a bit of indecision, works against him. Team Mxster now series points as EWAVE are on the brink of collapse.
If there's one silver lining for EWAVE, Team Mxster are not playing as well as they started this map. We saw then they had that 2v1 fully established, and if Fazen rather could just choose a target, I dare say they probably win that round. However, Mxster still win it out. Still 6-3 up. 3 in a row are required for EWAVE, or else they'll be heading down to those elimination matches. So a lot rides on these next 3 rounds. Mxster just need to probably improve on the play of last round, to be honest. At the very least, keep it up. If they sink any further, EWAVE will be given an opportunity to keep winning these rounds. It'll be top 4 here. A difficult site to attack, but if Mxster just pick a push they want to do, where it be a split push from Aqua and also from IT, or from Connector and IT, just make a choice, stick together crucially so you can get those trades, and just play your game plan. If they do that, they should be winning this round, they should be winning this series, because overall they are still by far and away looking like the better team here on Nighthaven. They just can't allow to fall into the same mistakes that have plagued both teams in this series, specifically the trade game. If you just play together, you should be winning this out.
Yeah, and you know, there's always an opportunity for Penche to just go absolutely massive, find a triple, like happens multiple times on Consulate. In fact, an ace would bring Penche to a 2.0 KPR. Which, I mean, already the KPR is insane, but that would... This is the type of caliber of play that we're talking about, where I could definitely see that being a possibility. Bandit trick, though, coming on in from Mxster works out well for them, and the impact GMP, it doesn't last for all that long. No Thatcher on side. It's going to make it increasingly difficult. In fact, I think Ryan maybe has just left that IT breach alone, at least for now.
Yeah, reinforcement will come up as well, so Mxster is very confident that he's going to be given a lot of freedom around this position, as EWAVE have managed to hold on to this top floor. But still, Esther approaching connector, going to have to burn some piece of utility. It's going to be the smoke grenade instead of the 4 candelas he has in pocket. Jumping onto that couch, trying to find something here, but EWAVE quite wisely not offering up any gunfights, as Team Mxster, I'm not going to say they've stalled as of yet. It's just a very, very slow push. They've got time on the board, certainly. TJ needs to make use of that last hard breach charge, presumably onto that connector wall, just to get a little bit of pressure and presence onto the site.
Yeah, absolutely, and with no Bandit batteries really available for them, there's still one left in pocket for Mxster, but I believe that is the only one. The IT breach has been opened up as well in the meantime. So things looking pretty good now for Team Mxster. The trap is sort of coming on towards the site now. The net is really tightening, but they're just sitting, waiting, and I think perhaps the position known by Gold, sending in some shots. It's FaZe, and the C4 out from below, it doesn't quite get it, and they recognize that the Valkyrie camera is there. Just too much information being seeded over to the EWAVE side, but they still just hold on into a 5 versus 5. Low HP on a couple of these players, and now Penche's been taken down. That's a massive one. The most impactful player for the side of Mxster, and there's another kill. FaZe in a 5 versus 3. Ryan now the player, the onus on you, but Gold flanking up from behind. No inside of the site, in fact, with one. But still, these players, they're worried about that possibility of a flank, and you can see why it's Zyvan, in fact, who was going for that play to shut down. It's a 2 versus 3, but Esther so low on health. EJ really the one that's going to have to try and make this work, and still the deployable shield is there. Some damage being dealt. Esther with a pick instead. It's 2 versus 2. 20 HP on Gold, 2 HP on Esther, but Gold finds TJ. Now the lowest health player in the lobby so far is going to have to try and find these picks. Has got the first, but there's no time. The pre-fire's coming out. Tiro has to try and set
What?
But Esther wins the clutch, wins the game, and EWAVE get knocked down yet again.
Okay, fantastically played. Absolutely fantastic from Etza. As you said, lowest health in the lobby by far. Just going full confidence, full aggression, because it was an all or nothing moment there. How is EWAVE letting that round slip? There's no chance in hell that should have happened.
5v3, Joe. It was
5v3.
5v3 for EWAVE, and they let it slip, even in a 1 versus 2 as well.
I mean, I guess they're sort of paying for the luck they had way back at the start in Nighthaven, that 2v5.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it came back to bite them at the worst possible moment. Team Mxster felt almost like they were owed a round back in that first half, and they came to get their pound of flesh there when it mattered most. 7-2, I believe. Phenomenal third map there from Team Mxster. And finally, a team gets their redemption on one of these maps. It took all the way till map 3, but we had a different result.
I mean, finally, right? And of course it was gonna be Team Mxster of all of the teams right now that we saw, like in that game. The storyline was building towards Team Mxster, right? Like it absolutely was, and the momentum was following them through as well. Yes, Consulate was a little bit closer than Chalet. It was a 7-5 instead of a 7-3, but they still looked very, very dominant on that map, and then they just let them hang on Nighthaven Labs. Realistically, it should never get that close, but a 7-3 victory on Nighthaven Labs is what it took to get the series across the line. And ignoring some of the mistakes on Chalet, I think Mxster can consider that a fairly good win.
Yeah, I think Mxster are certainly going to be considering themselves very lucky that we're in a best-of-3 format, because they look to be a best-of-3 team, right? They have a bit of a slow start, conceding that first map, but from there on out, so very strong, so very dominant. There was a bit of a slip near the end of Consulate, but they picked themselves up and headed into Nighthaven in incredibly dominant fashion. Really well played from them. Well played from EWAVE as well. Won a lot of those rounds, particularly in our first half of the series, when they were in a bit of a disadvantage, but unfortunately they just can't quite get it over the line in that final map.
Yeah, no, they absolutely couldn't. MVP of the series, I think it would have to be Pencho, right? Like,
Yeah,
I don't think there's
definitely.
really any question about that. On EWAVE, Gold has been the absolute standout player, but for just overall the fact that Master won out the series, it's got to be Pencho. They did
Yeah.
so good, especially on Consulate, dragging Master through some rounds. Because if that performance hadn't happened, we wouldn't have found ourselves on Nighthaven Labs, and even there, they top fragged on the team. So like
Yeah.
it just the ultimate performance, ultimate carry performance, perhaps you could say, from Penche. Multiple triple kills on the basement to kind of drag Team Master across the line on Consulate, but they get the win nonetheless. And at the end of the day, it's the result that matters. A 2-1 victory. They find themselves in the mid bracket, and the lower bracket, you can see EWAVE get sent down there. There's a lot of teams in that 1-1 though. You got PBX, you got Team Master, you got Entropy, you got MVG as well. All of those teams in there vying for, again, avoiding an elimination game, because for EWAVE now, just one more slip up and they are done.
Yeah, indeed they are. This is, of course, not the elimination match today, but still very, very important. And from here on out, it's still going to be best of threes for EWAVE.
It's so
but it's
rare
be...
for a team to go down to that 0-2 spot and then qualify 3-2. It's so rare.
Yeah, it's going to be very, I'm sure, quite stressful for EWAVE having to play the remainder of the Swiss stage in these elimination matches. If they even make it that far, of course, they might end up losing in round 3. That could very easily be a possibility here. Luckily for them, though, in sort of a normal Swiss stage, this would be where you enter the best of threes. But they've already had 2 best of threes under their belt. They've got that experience under this system to work on. So maybe they could start to build a little bit of a comeback just based on them being more familiar with the Swiss stage best of threes. But still, it's going to be a very difficult job for them.
And it's this, I mean, their opponents get the exact same advantage.
Yeah.
The other thing is, EWAVE don't necessarily strike me as a roster that's lacking in experience. Like we've seen players like Mxster, like Fazen, like Tiro, all throughout ESA from quite a few seasons ago. I believe Tiro did sort of come in as sort of a emergency sub situation. Just based on some of the things I've seen, which maybe could explain some of the sort of lack of synergy that we were criticizing. But even still, there's lessons to be learned there for both teams, I feel like. EWAVE especially, obviously, having taken that loss, but Team Master, there's still a lot of lessons to learn. You're not quite going to be that lucky against other teams, I feel like.
Yeah, they're... I'm sure both sides can come away from this match with things that they can be proud of and things that they can maybe improve. Particularly, tired of saying this in the series, trades. We saw too many man advantages slipping away because it was just 1v1s being taken. If there's anything, anyone, you know what, anyone watching this can take away, please just work on trades. If you're a good team at trading, that means whenever you get an opening kill, you should be winning a round, and that's a massive benefit to have. So just go for trades, please.
Go for trades.
Just play that man advantage. You've earned it. You went out of your way to get it for a reason. May as well use it.
Absolutely. Well, that's going to be the end of the stream for us today. I've been Pastor, joined by Poobal. We've had Ogon on the sticks. We've had a Hot Nux running the stream behind the scenes. Thank you all very much for watching in the audience as well. We'll see you tomorrow for more ESA Cup action. Good night.